explosive. Big shot. It is all over. Just like that.
It's a beautiful thing to see this level of spirit.
Now he's out.
Diamonds, gold, and a beautiful cup is on the line. Our main event features Barrie Jones and Tommy, the Samurai Turner. Our co-main event is a rematch of a fight that took place just over 3 months ago in Dubai, where Jarome Hatch knocked out marvelous Martinjak. 9 fights involving Team BYB against Team BKB for the first ever Police Gazette International Cup. Beautiful London, England. And this is the second time that Trigon has traveled to the UK, and it does not get much better than this. The fans will be ready. I mean, here we go. It is gonna be a fun night of fights. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg, always joined by my partner, the powerful partner, the former 2-time world champion, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi. Similar backgrounds in glove boxing for Tommy Turner and Barrie Jones, Paulie, but you know, we always hear this word GOAT or GWOAT lately, if it's Chris Cyborg or Clarissa Shields. In bare knuckle right now, I think it's safe to say Barrie Jones is truly the GOAT.
Yeah, man. I mean, this guy is, you can't take your eyes off the TV. You can't go to the fridge and get a beer. You can't do anything. He gets guys out, and he gets them out of there spectacularly. He's been building up a big reputation. He's knocked out some very good fighters. He even knocked out one of our BYB fighters at another event. And tonight he's got a guy who's pretty much known to do the same thing in Tommy Turner. Maybe not as big of a reputation, maybe not as much experience, but Tommy Turner also gets guys out of there relatively quickly. So when you got two guys, two bangers that are known to get guys out of there, you don't want to take your eyes off the TV set.
37 seconds is all it took in the first fight that Tommy Turner had inside the Trigon. You know, it was somewhat comical afterwards. Tommy Turner was asked, who do you want next? Now, a lot of fighters get asked that. He goes, you know, I just want to fight the best, maybe, you know, a Jimmy Sweeney or a Barrie Jones. And he said to us yesterday in the fighter meetings, it happened a little quicker than I thought. It is Barrie Jones, but there is a ton of mutual respect.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I said, both guys are known to have the big knockout power. You know, what do they call them? Anesthesiologists.
Yes,
when they put guys to sleep. Both these guys are known anesthesiologists here in bare knuckle fighting. So why not put them against each other? It's a great main event, and the fans are going to love it.
I have huge respect for the Magic Man, not just saying that word once, but twice, and getting it out perfectly. All right, if there is mutual respect in our main event, there's respect, but there is also a boatload of bad blood in our co-main event. It is Marko Martinjak, Jarome Hatch again. Marko Martinjak, the first time in Dubai, Paul, he got off to a great start.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he's probably the more talented of the two. You know, Hatch has the equalizer, which is the big power, but Martinjak's got pretty good power himself and has that gliding style around him, and he can change the angle on you quickly, put the combinations together, and he looked like he was on his way to a pretty easy victory. And then, of course, Hatch did what Hatch does. He's got the equalizer, he's known for it, and he started catching Martinjak, and it didn't last too long for Martinjak. All of a sudden, the momentum had shifted quickly, and just like that, it was over the other way around. So a big rematch, looking forward to it.
When it comes to the right hand of Jarome Hatch, whatever he lands it on, he destroys it. Let's just say that. Marko Martinjak said it's going to be very different. Tonight, we asked him to look back on that disappointing loss, and he said quite simply, Paulie, I don't like Dubai anymore. I'm not going back. That works as well.
Can't blame him.
Can't blame him at all. All right, our Trigon is what defines us here at BYB with our partners at BKB. It is the smallest surface in combat sports.
Oh, it sure is. 3 equal sides, 21 by 21 by 21, 60-degree corner. So you don't want to get yourself caught up in that corner because it's a tighter corner to get out of. You're going to have to fight your way out of it if you do. And, of course, that's the whole idea, right? That's why we have the Trigon as a combat sport surface. 90% KO or TKO rate. Most guys get stopped. We expect nothing less tonight.
Our rules tonight, as always, 4-ounce gloves, exposed knuckles. Now, gloves here are optional. No 3 knockdown rule. A 10-point must scoring system is in effect. Punching in the clinch is allowed. The referee or doctor can stop the fight. This is what it's all about tonight, the International Cup, the Police Gazette International Cup. It will be 9 bouts that feature Team BYB against Team BKB. The winner, it's me being the hockey guy, Paulie, the winner will bring home Lord Stanley's Cup. In this case, it is the International Cup. We start out, though, with a nice BKB matchup to get things started. Our tail of the tape, we have, he always makes fun of me, Szymon Szynkiewicz. Did I get it right? Did I get it?
Got it.
All right, he'll tell me later. He is back again, 41-year-old from Norway, welcoming Benjamin Vicious Robinson to the bare knuckle world. This is his debut, and this will happen inside the Trigon. All right, let's get into my man, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Indigo room here at the world-famous O2 Arena in London, England. Tonight's home for BYB 18, as the Trigon has ventured across the pond for the inaugural Police Gazette Bare Knuckle International Cup, where Team BYB will be taking on Team BKB in 9 bare knuckle bouts under BYB Extreme rules. Team BYB will be represented by the United States, and Team BKB will be represented by the United Kingdom and the rest of Europe. We open our contest tonight with 5 3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, here is Szymon Szynkiewicz.
Yes, his nickname is Shrek, and I love the fact that he walks out to this song. Fun-loving guy. He has this as a profession because, Paulie, quite simply, he likes to fight.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's funny because he says, I'm just a competitor. It's never personal. He goes, I don't have a mean bone in my body, but I do like to compete and I like to win. And so it's one of those things that once the fight bug gets you, yes, you can't get rid of it.
Coming off a loss in Dubai back in March. It was great to be in Dubai. Will Chope, who is on the card here tonight, finished Shrek. I'm gonna go safe now. Shrek in the second round. He is looking to get back to his winning ways. He is Szymon Szynkiewicz.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, here is Benjamin Robinson.
First bare knuckle fight for Benjamin Robinson. 37 years old, 18 amateur boxing bouts, some unlicensed boxing, and the amateur and the novice boxing here in the UK, Paulie, is at a very high level.
Yeah, you know, they're always bringing out high-level amateurs. We've seen Olympic medalists and gold medalists come out of England, also guys that transcend into the pros. They've got a good system here. The what do they call it? The ABAs or something like that. Yeah, got a good system here. So you know, we'll see how much talent they start producing here in bare knuckle as well.
And we will see how Benjamin Robinson starts his bare knuckle career inside the Trigon. With the official introductions, once again, here is Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our opening contest, live on beIN Sports and Combat Labs this afternoon here in London, England. And we welcome our viewers joining us in the United States, and good morning. This contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the cruiserweight division and is brought to you by GC3. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Bill Clancy. Let's meet the fighters. First, Fighting out of the red corner, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 194.5 pounds. He comes to us with a bare knuckle record of 3 victories versus 3 defeats, and he fights out of Hamar, Norway, by way of Slupsk, Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Szymon Shrek Szynkiewicz. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with gold trim, he stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 193.1 pounds. He is making his bare knuckle debut, and he fights out of Peterborough, England, introducing Benjamin Vicious Robinson.
Here we go! Our first fight, live from the Indigo at the O2 Arena in London, England. Shrek in the black trunks, black and gold trunks for Benjamin Robinson.
Dude, Robinson have a little bit of that boxing rhythm to him.
And in the fighter meetings yesterday, Paulie, he did say it's boxing still, so I'm going to use the skills I've been using for years.
Yeah, and it does transcend. You know, a lot of times though, inside the Trigon, what ends up happening is you end up getting sucked into more of a fight than you want to, because it's such a small surface. But you can use things like, I think they collided hands there. You can use things like feints and the subtleties in boxing will definitely help you even in a small surface.
The kindness and the transparency that we talked about with Szymon Szynkiewicz, he said in that fight with Will Chope, he said, I admit, I panicked. He came on, he started hitting me a little bit, and he caught me off guard. He said, I will not go into that mind frame or that gear here tonight.
Yeah, he's stalking really patiently here. He's you know, you can see he's putting some pressure on, and of course it's the debut for Vicious, you know, here in BYB. It's a debut for Robinson, so you know he's trying to. It's his bare knuckle debut, is what I'm saying, and so he's trying to, you know, stay calm and trying to get through the first round in his first experience inside even the Trigon, you know. You can see Szynkiewicz is the calmer guy. He's stalking and whatnot. You see Robinson, he's trying to create openings. He's trying to, you see that touch jab there, trying to create things. But at times, I think he's rushing to throw too much of a big shot. And I think even in his rhythm, he's a little bit tense right now because it's the first round in a bare knuckle fight. See there again, he's trying to rush those big shots right there instead of trying to set them up. And you see Szynkiewicz is just not really looking to give ground. He's looking to sort of close the walls in from inside of that Trigon on Robinson.
And this is the third time, Paulie, we have seen Shrek fight for us right here inside the Trigon, and this is the calmest. He looks, and right as I said that, he calmly goes down after a big shot from Benjamin Robinson.
We talk about the calmness of Szynkiewicz, but the thing is, Robinson had been trying that overhand right for a while, so you should already kind of know it's what he's trying to do. He basically was looking for a one-hitter quitter, Robinson is. You know, it's all he's really looking for. He's looking to touch a little bit with that left hand and throw a big right hand. That's literally the only thing he's looking for, and he's sort of one-dimensional. So if you're Szynkiewicz and you're putting this pressure on him, you've also got to start to notice that this guy is kind of one-dimensional in his attack.
Final seconds of round number 1. Robinson scoring the knockdown with a big right hand.
No need to do that. Keep your fingers closed up. Closed up. Up top. I don't want to take a point from both. Okay?
set for round number 2 of our first fight here tonight from the Indigo at the O2 Arena in London, England. Black trunks for Szynkiewicz. Robinson in the black and gold trunks. Looking for that right hand again, Paulie.
Yeah, he's not even following it up with a hook or anything else. So it's basically the one thing he's looking for. He's got some smooth moves defensively. He comes from that box. You can see his footwork comes from that boxing background.
Utilizing the footwork as you talked about, partner.
Exactly, glide right back. Hey, you good? Came back with that right hand. He's very right hand happy, but with Szynkiewicz is working. Szynkiewicz does not look very good here. He doesn't look like. Usually he's got a good poker face, but now I don't know. It seems like he's a little bit intimidated himself now. He's kind of out of answers. Let's see if Robinson now starts putting together the combinations, or if he's going to keep looking for that one big shot with the right hand.
Robinson, when we asked him, he said he considers himself an aggressive counter puncher, and he's done a nice job with that right hand over the top on the counter, not once but twice here in round 1 and early in round 2.
And he's using that footwork very nicely, changing range very nicely defensively. You know, again, on the attack, I think he's a bit too right hand happy. I think in this fight it's going to work for him, but I think as he continues to develop, he's going to have to be a little bit more versatile. But nonetheless, the footwork and changing of range and even the way he set up that counter shot to get the second knockdown was very, very impressive.
Wait, nothing. Step.
Started boxing back in 2008. Very successful amateur boxing career.
And there he's forcing it. He was just threw it from too far out there. But Szynkiewicz is a bit too slow, and he's not really getting the hang of Robinson's fluid movement. He's not really able to trap him, and he's not really been able to land anything of note on Robinson to get Robinson to, you know, be tense. As a matter of fact, I thought Robinson started out kind of tense in the first round. It was his first bare knuckle round. It was his first time with the Trigon. But he has since warmed into the fight very nicely, and Szynkiewicz has done a pretty bad job of trying to, you know, put that pressure on him to make him feel a little bit of the heat.
Background in Sambo for Szymon Szynkiewicz. Lives in Norway.
Wait, nothing. Step back. Step back.
So the grappling part of his arsenal is very effective, but yet every time they've kind of touched and clinched, he's walked away very quickly. Be interesting to see if he changes that approach.
Yeah, he's going to need to here. He's got to figure something out. He's having a hard time trying to close the gap. And you see there what he does. He's not in unison with his jab and his step. That's why Robinson is able to time him with that right hand. He kind of sticks out that left hand and then tries to step in instead of stepping in as he's throwing it, you know? And that's why Robinson is looking to time that shot. He's able to score one knockdown. He just missed on a counter there a few seconds back.
Step back. Step back. We're under 10. Under 10. Box.
Round 2 in the books.
Watch those fingers, my man. Keep them closed up top, okay?
You see some action from that round here. You saw how Robinson glided backwards very, very fluidly. We saw Szynkiewicz trying to close the gap with that double jab, but he didn't really throw it as a double jab. He kind of just stuck it out there and tried to follow Robinson as he's sticking it out. And Robinson kind of just glided back, saw if Szynkiewicz would retreat the left hand. He didn't. He just kept it out there. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to throw a right hand over the top of it. He's stepping right to me. Let me walk him into a right hand. Obviously, it happened that much faster than my explanation, but nonetheless, that's exactly how it went down.
That's the Italian in your body.
Yeah.
You're very thorough.
I want to make sure that, you know, the fans at home kind of going to understand how that came about.
Absolutely. And leaving that lead left out, his jab is just as potentially costly as leaving it low, throwing it from your chest, because it gives Robinson the opportunity to go right over the top with his powerful right hand.
Well, that's the thing. You can stick out that lead hand and be on your back foot and use it as a measuring stick, right? But what Szynkiewicz is doing is he's getting on his front foot. He's coming in and he's sticking the left hand out. He's not shooting the jab. He's just sticking his left hand out as he's coming in. So what he's doing is he's on the front foot, kind of leaning in with just a hand sticking out. So it's easy to come over the top of him. And Robinson did it again at the beginning of this round. And also, well, go ahead.
Well, no, and front foot is interesting that you mentioned because that is the one thing that Benjamin Robinson said about his opponent tonight. He is a front foot fighter.
Yeah, and he's made him pay for that. He's made him pay for that. You know, there's things you can do if you're Szynkiewicz. I mean, there's things both guys can do in this manner, whether you can use those feints. I think Robinson, at least, if he's not feinting as much, he's at least in a rhythm where it's kind of deceptive, you know, so it's kind of like you're feinting, but you're not, you know. While Szynkiewicz is kind of stationary, so a feint there, here and there could throw off that counter-punching timing of Robinson.
That was a big right hand that Szymon Szynkiewicz just kind of took.
Yeah.
Trying to be a little more bladed.
Yeah, I think Robinson's right hand might be a little bit hurt. He's not throwing it with as much enthusiasm anymore, and he's starting to actually jab a few seconds back. That's the thing about these bare knuckle fights. You start loading up these shots, man. Your hand does start to hurt. And if you're fighting a bald head like this, like Szynkiewicz, trust me, I got it from experience. You'll break your hand.
Yep. And this being his first time in an official bare knuckle battle.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you come from boxing, a lot of times the first thing you got to learn when it's from bare knuckle is in boxing you're taught to punch through your opponent. You try to do that too much here, and you're gonna break your hand. So you've got to pick your spots when you're gonna try to drive through your opponent.
And with that, he makes a good adjustment and goes to the body.
Yep. So Szynkiewicz here could take advantage because it looks like Robinson's trying to take breaks because his hands might be hurting, or his lead hand might be hurting. So trying to take some breaks here. And Szynkiewicz could take advantage of that and force him to fight or put him under duress, but he's not throwing punches. There he finally does.
Because with the one
Is that
right
from
hand,
Sambo there?
Yeah, that's a little Sambo, yeah. Take down 2 points.
Judo Sambo. Robinson a little slow to get up, man. He's got a couple of rounds to go. He's gonna have to figure his way out of this fight here. I don't know if his hand is broken or if it's at least very hurt, because he's not as enthusiastic with it. And being that he was a one-handed fighter earlier in the fight, now that's the one thing Szynkiewicz had to be scared of or intimidated by. And now it's not coming his way. You can see the right hand swelling on the part of Robinson. Got 2 rounds to go still, Goldie. This could get it.
And you have a round 1 and a round 2, which are 10-8 rounds for Robinson.
Yeah. What was round 2? Was there a knockdown or was that the judo throw?
Yeah, that was the knockdown. The judo throw, maybe 10-9.
All right. Szynkiewicz needs a couple of big rounds here, but he can't get his way into the fight. And with Robinson's activity starting to really diminish from what seems like, at the very least, an injured hand. I'm not going to say broken because I'm not the X-ray guy, but certainly a hand that's bothering him, we'll say that. It could be an opportunity for Szynkiewicz to step on the gas if he chooses to.
And let's keep an eye on the cardio of Benjamin Robinson. We head to round number 4. Our first fight of the night, scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds.
You can control the pace with your jab, though, man. I mean, Robinson comes from a boxing background. You know, I broke my hand when I fought in bare knuckle, man. You can still control the pace with your jab very, very well, especially if you mix the rhythm with feints and whatnot. I think that's what Robinson's going to have to go back to doing. He's not usually used his jab much, except for touching with it with the lead left hand. But I think he's going to need to use it if he's not going to be throwing those big right hands like before.
You won that fight, too, by the way.
I think if we ask Clancy and referee Clancy in the Trigon, he knows the same thing. He's told me afterwards he couldn't believe he didn't give me that decision either.
They're telling Benjamin Robinson to be first.
Yeah, but again, it's hard to be first when there's an injured hand. But again, coming from a boxing background, you've got a jab. You've been taught that jab. You can use it with different rhythms. It does work here, and that's what Robinson should be doing.
That was the first time we have seen either fighter, but most prominently, Szymon utilized the dirty boxing.
Yeah. And as he's able to get closer, if Robinson's not able to throw as many right hands, we're going to see Szynkiewicz able to get a little closer. He may be able to use more of that dirty boxing. Szynkiewicz, I think, needs to use some urgency here, though, because he needs a couple of big rounds. He needs at least one big round, and he's got a guy in front of him who's winning the fight, but he's not as active anymore. He's got to take advantage of this instead of, allowing himself to fight at this slow pace.
Oh, so there was an accidental eye poke. Non-verbally, Szymon said to Benjamin, I'm okay, let's go. And Robinson jumped right in and caught him
Yeah,
off
you
guard.
got to protect yourself at all times.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fight at the end of the day. And Szynkiewicz should have known better. And now Robinson going back and using that left hand a little bit more actively with the jab and whatnot. And I think when Szynkiewicz is already not really putting a lot of pressure on you, he's just kind of plodding along. I think if you just use your jab, you'll be able to control him enough to get through. Really nice right hand there by Robinson. He's still throwing it here and there. You're starting to see some hooks though on the part of Robinson, something you didn't see earlier in the fight.
A lot more left hands being thrown too. Under a minute, round number 4. Benjamin Vicious Robinson in the black and gold trunks from Peterborough, England, making his bare knuckle debut. Born in Poland, lives in Norway. 6th, now 7th bare knuckle battle for Shrek. 1-1 in the Trigon.
Final 30 seconds.
Again, Szynkiewicz not taking advantage. You see how Robinson is trying to just manage the clock here, and Szynkiewicz is not taking advantage. I mean, you've got to have a little bit more urgency here. If you're Szynkiewicz, you've got to know you're behind, and you've got a guy who's not as active, probably because his hands are hurting, so you can take advantage, but he's just not done that. I mean, he's allowed Robinson to do some good clock management, and it's just a mathematical thing here, you know. I think Szynkiewicz needs at least one big round if he's going to have a chance to get a decision. And that wasn't a big round. Whether he won it or not is up in the air, because Robinson was not that active, but Robinson did land some good shots. So Robinson could still have had a chance to win it because Szynkiewicz himself didn't force enough action. But now you put yourself in a position where you probably need a knockout to win if you're Szynkiewicz. Some good right hand there by Robinson, partially turned on it, did Szynkiewicz, but nonetheless, Robinson still trying to get off some right hands.
Okay? The only chance we've got beating this fella now is knocking him out, okay? Okay, we've got a fucking war with this point. We've got a fucking war, alright? Jab him, drop that shoulder.
Robinson landed a big right hand in round number 3 that Szynkiewicz was able to take and stay up with, but it was the best punch of that round. So the first 2 are obvious, Paulie. Even rounds 3 and 4, tough to judge. So I agree with you. Shrek needs to finish Robinson, walk up, and leave here tonight with his arm raised.
And again, I think if he just starts using that lead jab consistently and off rhythm, Szynkiewicz, his pressure will diminish. Szynkiewicz now throwing a couple of big right hands. I think he knows maybe he got a good talking to in the corner. He's trying to finally see some urgency on the part of Szynkiewicz here in the first 20 seconds of the round. Let's see if he can continue this urgency. Oh, right hand.
Getting that right hand. Szynkiewicz did say he was very honest and transparent. He admits that he panicked in the loss to Will Chope back in March in Dubai.
Oh, that's a big cut.
It may be that he never got started and never got a rhythm when he reflects on this fight. Just over 2 minutes remain.
Step back.
A big hook there by Robinson, and it opened up a cut on the forehead scalp of Szynkiewicz, and of course, that's an area that bleeds a lot because there's not a lot of skin there, you know? It's very, very tight up on the skull. And you can literally see it bleeding and then dripping down here.
Yeah,
Bare knuckle at its finest, Goldie.
you got that right. To the body.
This time this is why I'm glad we're not right on the Trigon like we are when we work these fights in the States and I wear ruined suits.
I'm actually planning on wearing the same shirt on Wednesday, Paulie, so it's a good thing we're safe.
All right.
My powerful partner, Paulie Malignaggi here on BYB, also my powerful partner with Chris Algieri on Pro Box TV.
Hence the Wednesday reference, right, Goldie?
That's exactly right. So now you at home can say, why is he talking about Wednesday? Now you know.
And Goldie will wear the same shirt Wednesday.
That's right. Because it won't be bloodied up like usual. Final minute of our first fight of the night.
Robinson's going to be able to get bit by this one. One thing Szynkiewicz has to also, big kick in the right hand there by Robinson. One thing Szynkiewicz also has to learn is he's got to learn to cut off the ring, or to cut off the Trigon in this case. And his feet are way too slow, so he can't be having any success trying to follow his opponent around. If you're gonna have feet that slow, you gotta learn to cut off the ring or cut off the Trigon.
30 seconds left, London.
There's literally a hole on the forehead of Szynkiewicz. He's trying to trap Robinson. Robinson, again, not as active with his hands. You can see Robinson's hands are bothering him. But Szynkiewicz is not able to trap Robinson the way he needs to. Again, not cutting off the ring, and also Robinson's boxing forward really helps out.
This one's going to go the distance. Szymon, Szynkiewicz, Benjamin, Robinson. Go the full 15 minutes.
Just a matter of Robinson with a big right hand early in the fight, and that was a big difference. That probably could be the difference in the scorecards in general. But then as the activity of Robinson diminished, you saw Szynkiewicz try to bring in the pressure, but he just couldn't hone in on and find Robinson the way he needed to. See Robinson's slick boxing defense gets caught with a partial shot there on the way off the ropes. But you could see Robinson changing the distance with him, in, out, right hand there again. And even on the inside, when Szynkiewicz did have Robinson, you see Robinson blading out. See half step there. Szynkiewicz just couldn't get in rhythm with the footwork of Robinson. Not for lack of trying, but nonetheless, looks like Robinson's going to come out on top of this one.
That big right hand, the difference in our first fight of the night. Judges rendering their decision.
Good fight, though. Good fight. Sorry about the iPhone. He says he's using the fight. It's hard to get him to keep the phone.
It's in. Here is Big Mo.
All right, here we go, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judge Page sees it 47-46, while Judge Szymon sees it 48-45, and Judge White sees it 49-44. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Benjamin Vicious Robinson.
Unanimous decision victory for Benjamin Robinson. Scott Burt with the victor. Scott's suit, he told me tonight, is in tribute to King Charles Beefeaters. And you know what? He always is dressed to the nines. Sometimes the 10s and 11s when you're talking about, when you're talking about friend Scott Burt. We are set for this tournament format to officially begin. Team BYB against Team BKB, the first ever Police Gazette International Cup. Our tail of the tape for this middleweight matchup. From BYB, John Untamable Barnard, born and raised in Hawaii, now fighting out of Charlotte, North Carolina, trained extensively with the former UFC featherweight champion, Max Holloway. His opponent, Gareth the Hoof Ben Hoof. He said, yes, I have a Welsh first name, I have a Dutch last name, but I am neither. Somewhere it's gotta be there. They are set to go. Who will get on the board first? Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest begins the Bare Knuckle International Cup. Team BYB and the United States of America and Team BKB representing the United Kingdom and Europe. 5 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division. The winner of this contest will earn 1 victory for their team tonight. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner and representing Team BKB. Please welcome Gareth Van Hoof.
Let's go. Slow, guys. Slow time. Come on. Gareth Van Hoof takes his fight on 8 days' notice. Let's go. He has had 2 first-round finishes in his bare-knuckle career in another organization, Bad to the Bone. His most recent was 3 weeks ago. He also, Paulie told us he's got a fight scheduled for July 29th. Right now, though, he wants to have a successful debut inside the Trigon and give Team BKB an early lead.
Yeah, I mean, this guy takes keeping a busy schedule to the next level, right?
You got that right.
Although the 29th is spent versus Crawford.
Yes, yes. May be able to catch it with the time change, right?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a win and we'll check the fight out.
There you go. He is Gareth Van Hoof.
Let's see how he does tonight, though. He looks very
And his
animated.
opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB. Here is John Barnard.
Woo! Let's go.
What happened in the world?
Now making his home base, Charlotte, North Carolina. The Hawaiian has cross-trained with Brian Jett, Josh Oxendine, Maurice Morris. So bare knuckle fighters with a high profile in our organization. And then back at home, he said, I've spent more time with Max Holloway, the blessed Max Holloway, than anyone. Former UFC featherweight champion, 3 title defenses. He's trained with Yancy Medeiros. He's trained with former world champion Josh Thompson, Yuli Diaz, former world champion Cain Velasquez, former world champion Misha Tate. Yep, he went to AKA in San Jose, and that's where he was with Josh and Cain. And he's been all over, and he said he's very ready, he's very excited tonight, and he also has trained with one of my favorite fighters of all time, Yancy Medeiros, one of the toughest Hawaiians who truly define let's scrap.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our opening contest for the International Bare Knuckle Cup. Team BYB versus Team BKB. And it's brought to you by Buy Sell Clothing. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mr. Clive Allison. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet, 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 154.5 pounds. He comes to us with an undefeated bare knuckle record of 2 victories versus no defeats. Representing Team BKB, he fights out of Shrewsbury, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Gareth the Hoof Van Hoof. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he stands 5 feet, 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 150.2 pounds. He comes to us with an undefeated bare knuckle record of 1 victory versus no defeats. Representing Team BYB, he fights out of Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Here is untamable John Barnard.
Let's go.
Van Hoof and Barnard.
Round
Here
1.
we go. Round number 1, Van Hoof 2-0 in his bare knuckle career. Barnard 1-0, just fought back on May 12th, 45 days ago.
Somebody's always got to go here, man.
Yep.
You can tell that these guys have a good boxing background. You can tell the way they're in their stance, the way they position themselves, even their balance. Of course, the way Barnard is slipping and sliding there as well. And of course, the way Van Hoof is throwing some sharp shots. There's a good right hand there by Barnard. Sharp there, left hand, Van Hoof. Barnard trying to get him in the corner. And Barnard now turning southpaw. We're going to lead with hooks and right and left hands. Oh, a little sharp 1-2 there by Barnard himself. Gets a warning for following through with an elbow, though. Barnard's going to stay southpaw here, Goldie. He's going to stay southpaw. He saw it was working pretty well at close range.
Comfortable there, moving forward. Black and gold trunks for BYB's John Barnard. The Hawaiian Untamable, representing BKB. White and gold trunks is Gareth Van Hoof.
Barnard doing some good work in there with that tie plum. And that's the thing about the UK fighters, they don't use their bare knuckle rules, don't use that inside dirty boxing as they do in the US. So you're gonna probably notice some of the American fighters have the advantage when it comes to that, and you saw on the inside there, Barnard was using that tie plum. Good shot there by Barnard again.
Push me, man.
That ref just pushed Barnard out of the way like, yo. I think he got Van Hoof's attention there with a couple of shots.
Yeah, I do too. 1 minute on the clock, round number 1. Good action early, nice body head by Untamable.
I like the change of rhythm Barnard brings to the when he gets in there. Changes to some speeds, changes up his attack as well. Uses that tie plum. Oh, good left hand there by Van Hoof. And you see he's trying to get that tie plum in there, but he goes into the body, takes some of the power off some of the shots as well. Something Van Hoof's not doing. You can tell Van Hoof's a little bit tight, a little bit tense. Everything he throws is too hard. Right. You know, while you see Barnard, see right there, while you see Barnard kind of changing speed, going through the gears a little bit, you know, like a real savvy veteran, and it's working out better for him.
Nice 1-2, solid landing with the right hand for Barnard. And again,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Counter right hand there by Barnard.
6, 7, 8, 10 seconds.
final seconds of round number 1. Knockdown scored for Team BYB.
And now as fatigue starts to come in, that tie plum is going to get even worse. Van Hoof was on his way down again. With that belt in the ring, I'll tell you. See some of the action from that round. You saw Van Hoof come out, you know, letting go of some sharp shots, but you can see the consistency of Barnard finally start to pay off. He had good hand positioning, good balance, change in speed, good work on the inside, and little by little, so there's a knockdown of a counter right hand, of a wide left hand thrown by Van Hoof. He leans in, and Barnard makes him pay with a little rock back and counter right hand. And you can just see the control Barnard is feeling now by the end of that round, and also the panic that has set in Van Hoof. Van Hoof's gonna have to, again, show some versatility, man. You know, change up the speed on some of the shots, maybe even use some feints. Van Hoof came out punching very well, but when you throw everything at the same speed, a guy who's savvy like Barnard is gonna know how to slip and slide a lot of that attack. And what's gonna end up happening is if you don't change the speed on things, you're gonna start attacking. That's what Barnard started doing little by little.
Round number 2. Team BYB's John Barnard, black and gold trunks, white and gold trunks for BKB's Gareth Van Hoof, taking this fight on short notice. Barnard comes out southpaw. Good aggressiveness by Van Hoof.
Yeah, he's overwhelmed there.
Yeah, but overwhelmed in the corner.
Yeah, Van Hoof tried to fight his way out of there, couldn't do it, and then Barnard jumped right back on him. Van Hoof has nowhere to go. Van Hoof is probably going to go for broke here.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You know, I don't know if he's got much left. He tried to throw a couple of hard punches. He missed them. Once Barnard made him pay, went right down. He doesn't have a lot of resistance left if Barnard starts to keep touching him. Oh, good body shot by Barnard.
Van Hoof just trying to deliver one himself, and he does with the left volley.
Yeah, he's trying to go for broke there. Again, big shot. Like I said, not a lot of resistance left. I don't know if he's got much left.
6, 7, 8.
He's gutting it out, man. He talked himself into it. You see him grown there at 8. He talked himself into getting up, man. You gotta give him credit. I don't know if he's gonna win this fight, but you know what? He's trying to tough it out here. And again,
I'll keep going.
he's thinking about it. He's like, all right, I'll keep going. Let me grunt it out. Let me tough my way into it. Barnard, very, very savvy, though, man. I tell you, Barnard is really impressive here, man. The way he parries and shifts his hands, controls with the lead hand. Deflects a lot of Van Hoof's shots on the way in, and again, it's easier to do that when Van Hoof is throwing at the same speed all the time. Now he's just working on overwhelming Van Hoof, and I don't know if Van Hoof has a lot of resistance left. With 1 or 2 more clean shots, I don't know if Van Hoof is going to have anything left there.
Barnard's first fight after a 10-year layoff was the one that I mentioned 45 days ago, May 12th. Family, but also some injuries. Tore his ACL not once, not twice, 3 times.
I tell you, man, he's obviously been training because he looks really, really comfortable. Van Hoof is overwhelmed.
3, 4.
Also went to college, got his degree during that time.
7.
And he's shaking his head. That's it. Van Hoof can't.
It is all over.
I tell you, man, Barnard came back like a fish takes back to water.
You got that right. Well, like the Hawaiians, just scrap. He did exactly that.
And they do have a lot of water in Hawaii, no?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And he said to us, he's an inside pocket counter fighter. His biggest attribute, timing and precision, and you said that a lot with John.
And also, I'll tell you what another attribute is when you fight like that, it's mental stress you cause on your opponent because you're constantly on them. You won't go away. You're calm inside that pocket, just throwing shots at different speeds. Some shots hard, some shots soft, but eventually just the consistent barrage will just break a guy down, especially when he's already beat up like Van Hoof was. It didn't take much to stop him at the end. As Barnard's final punches weren't even that hard, but they were just consistent. And Van Hoof just starts to feel like that mental stress where I can't get this guy off me. I don't have enough in me to do it. I can't continue. 1-0 for the team BYB USA.
Got that right.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay. All right, your man.
Thank you for representing USA.
Congratulations on a successful Trigon debut for John Barnard. To make it official, here's Big Bo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Clive Allison calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 15 seconds of round number 2, declaring your winner by knockout and earning a victory for Team BYB, Untamable, John Barnard.
Untamable is right, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by our winner, John Barnard. First, you earned a victory for yourself, but also your team, BYB, and your country. How does it feel to get the win tonight?
It feels great. I get to expand my platform and be able to reach more people and do good with this the world and stuff. So it's really nice. I really enjoy it. This is something I really enjoy, and I find a lot of joy out of it. And so hopefully people will be inspired to push through their dreams. So this is awesome.
You're a well-traveled fighter. Anything that you have to say to your friends and family?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all my sponsors and also add anyone that is looking into sponsoring fighters, reach out to them, help them, because this is a very costly sport that a lot of fighters give up everything to do. So if you know a fighter, you want to sponsor them, look at their sponsors and help them. So it all circles back into the sport so that people can continue to do what they love. So that's all I want to do, and give my thanks to Jesus for allowing me to, the safety to return home to my family.
Well, congratulations on the victory and earning your team a victory. Ladies and gentlemen, Untamable, John Barnard.
Congratulations to John Barnard. And I love the interview where he just talks about taking care of his fellow fighters so they can do what they love at the highest level. And Barnard looked at a very high level in his victory tonight over Gareth Van Hoof. Trigon back in the UK for the second time, and it is 1-0 Team BYB. The O2 Arena, the 9th largest building in the world by volume, and of course one of the host venues when this great city of London hosted the 2012 Olympic Games. Which good we got one country against another, Paulie, kind of an Olympic competition. Our tail of the tape for our next matchup. Cruiserweight division, Will Chope, 6'4", 5 inches taller than his opponent. Also a 5-inch reach advantage over Team BKB's Tommy Stokes. Once again with the official introductions, Big Bo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BYB 18 live on BN Sports and Combat Labs pay-per-view. Team BYB now maintains a 1-victory lead over Team BKB as we move to our second matchup. 5 3-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division, brought to you by GC3. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, representing Team BKB from England, Tommy Stokes.
Tommy Stokes making his bare knuckle debut. He said quite simply, it all comes down to your boxing. He also said, I think they have given me a tough opponent to see if I sink or swim. He did say he will be the one swimming in there at the end, because Will Chope, a very experienced fighter in all forms and fashions. Tommy Stokes, good amateur career in boxing, 11-3 as a professional, his last professional bout back in 2019. And one of his training partners, Paulie, someone you know very well, in Sam Eggington.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, he did mention that yesterday in the fighter meetings.
Your last pro fight.
Yep, yep. And Eggington's gone on to have some good success.
Yep. Which is what you mentioned to Tommy when you mentioned Sam. Turned pro at age 18, and he is set to make his debut here inside the Trigon.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB, here is Will Chope.
Will Chope came in on very short notice in March in Dubai, earned himself a victory. The question would actually be, what form of combat has Will Chope not participated in?
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Tonight, believe it or not, Paulie, it's 137th professional combat competition. He fought MMA in the Philippines just 23 days ago. And oh, by the way, he broke his hand in the fight in March against Szynkiewicz in Dubai.
Get right over that, I guess?
I guess so. Brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, brown belt in karate. U.S. Air Force veteran. Went to serve in Guam at age 18. Weighed in at 199 when he replaced Hector Lombard in Dubai. That was the heaviest he's ever fought at. He is in his natural weight division here for this matchup.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second bout for the International Bare Knuckle Cup is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division, where the victor will earn 1 point for his team. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, representing Team BKB. He stands 5 feet, 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 173.2 pounds. He is making his bare knuckle debut, fighting out of West Bromwich, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy Stokes. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB. He stands 6 feet, 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 175.1 pounds. He is entering his 137th fight with a bare knuckle record of 3 victories versus 3 defeats. And he fights out of Kuching, Malaysia. By way of the United States of America, here's Will the Kill Chope. Our referee in charge, Bill Clancy.
Will the Kill.
Will the Kill. Nice gentleman, easy to talk to, understands combat very well. But when they get into this Trigon, they are set to go. Stokes and Chope. Here we go.
Round 1.
Will Chope in the black trunks. He's got that height and reach advantage. Union Jack trunks for Tommy Stokes.
Stokes and Chope. Sounds like something you find in a cookbook.
There you go.
A recipe.
Add some Stokes to that Chope.
Oh, Stokes down. That was Chope.
Quickly. It is all over, just like that. Wow.
And you see the cut on there. For those of you that are thinking maybe Chope didn't get hit and he just took a dive. Nope. There's a nice cut on Chope's face. He took a nice hook on the inside, probably still cold. That's kind of deep in there too. I mean, that good on Stokes to create that space on the inside and really get some leverage on that hook. I was gonna say he barely broke a sweat. He actually did not break a sweat.
Yep.
That's how fast that was.
But what he did do is something you would tell every young boxer to learn immediately. He started that punch from the canvas, from his feet, then his hips, and it didn't take much to connect.
Yeah, and you could see the damage on Chope when it landed. See, you're gonna get a look at the replay here. They got into a clinch. Good shot. He actually repeated that hook there. I don't even know if he got him with the second one. Imagine he would have hit him with the second one. He's got the right hand on the way down, but really I think it was that first left hook that really did him. Well, you don't see here on this angle because Clancy's in the way of the referee, but you see the result of it, that he's down.
With a shot like that, and a tough guy like Will Chope not getting up.
Oh, that's a big shot right there, He was on his way down here.
May have suffered a broken orbital bone there.
Definitely, the cut is kind of deep in there on his cheek from that hook.
All right, it's 1-1 to make this one official. Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Clancy calls a stop to this contest here in the Trigon at 32 seconds of the very first round, declaring your winner by knockout and earning a win for Team BKB, Tommy Stokes.
That is the way to make your debut.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy, you gotta wait till we all sit down, man. That you made way too quick a work for that. Half of us missed it. Tommy, congratulations. How does it feel to get a pretty quick work done tonight?
Oh man, I'm buzzing. But like I said, I come here to execute him and that's exactly what I've done.
Now, had your debut tonight, earn a victory for yourself, and also a victory for Team BKB in the United Kingdom. How does it feel to get a couple W's tonight?
Yeah, it feels great, bro. I want that knockout bonus as well.
Anything you have to say? You have some fans here today for you. Anything to say to them?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone that's come and brought this. It really does mean a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Tommy Stokes.
Tommy Stokes with the knockout of Will Chope at 32 seconds of the very first round. A lethal left hook ties our score in the first ever International Cup. you know, there is pride, Paulie, in representing your country. Yes, you're in there alone, but you want to have that flag draped over your shoulder.
Well, there's a team camaraderie, you know, here, and you know, you want to do it for yourself, but you also want to get one on the scoreboard for your team, because at the end, you want to be in the Trigon celebrating with that trophy with your team.
Yet, indeed, as we get ready to set about number 3 in our tournament, super middleweight matchup, a veteran now of the Trigon, Ryan Jett, 31 years old, 5 years younger than his opponent, Martin Reffell. Little bit of a reach advantage, although Martin is the taller of the 2 fighters. With the official introductions, once again, here is Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we move to the 3rd bout for the Bare Knuckle International Cup here at BYB 18, we are tied. 1 win apiece for Team BYB and Team BKB. Our next contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, from England, Martin Reffell.
His nickname is the Rebel. He has a 3-1 record. All 4 of those fights under the BKB flag. When asked what his biggest accomplishment is, he said, beating Ino Levici. And we saw Levici before, because at that time, the Rebel, Martin Reffell, was a big underdog, so it really started to motivate him. And since then, he has continued his winning ways.
And we've seen Levici fight. I mean, Levici gets guys out of there, big punching power. Reffell, to have a win over a guy that dangerous, obviously brought his confidence to a skyrocketing level.
He said, I have a beautiful woman and 6 brilliant girls. 18, 14, 12, 10, 9, and the youngest is 8 months old. Walking into the Trigon for Martin is like time off when you have 6 daughters.
And of course, no surprise that he's a fighter. He's gonna probably keep doing that.
I would say anyone that meets any of his daughters, you better behave yourself. Going to check the mic in the house. I could hear Big Mo because his voice carries perfectly.
I don't think Ryan could.
Yeah. Could this be a little tomfoolery as we have this battle between BKB, BYB? It is the
and his
BYB
opponent,
surface.
Fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB, Ryan Jett.
In the BKB venue.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Jett. What are your strengths, Ryan? These hands. A counter puncher. He said, I make people pay for their mistakes. I can also be the aggressor. Coming off a finish of Trevor Olesen in May, our last fight in May in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Took out the man Blackie Chan in just 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
Jett is almost like an enigma, man. You can see the talent on him, and when he puts it together, he's really something to watch. But then at times, sort of loses himself, a bit temperamental, and it makes him inconsistent. So we'll see which version of Ryan Jett we get tonight, because Reffell's a durable guy, and Reffell also knows how to fight. This could be a good little matchup here.
And Ryan Jett made his debut against one of our interim champions in Sam Liera in what was an incredible fight. Once again, here's Big Mo with the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are tied.
Technical difficulties here.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division and is brought to you live on beIN Sports. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 163.4 pounds. He comes to us with a bare knuckle record of 3 victories versus 1 loss. Representing Team BKB, he fights out of Peterborough, England, by way of Leicester, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin the Rebel Reffell. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB. He stands 5'9" and 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 165.8 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 2 victories versus 1 loss and 1 no contest. And he fights out of Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Here is Ryan Jett.
Martin Reffell and Ryan Jett. Here we go. Black and gold trunks for BKB's Martin Reffell, Ryan Jett. Representing BYB in the black and purple trunks. They work to clinch early.
2 high-intensity guys.
Absolutely. I mean, Jett looked outstanding in his quick finish of Trevor Olesen.
And smothering himself a little bit here in this fight, and Reffell doing a smart thing of trying to work on the inside. It looks like Reffell's a little bit physically stronger in there, and he's able to lock up Jett in there for those little shots. Let's see if Jett does a better job of keeping at range where he can get his punching power going. He smothered himself a couple of times, fell right into where Reffell wanted.
Got the stars and stripes, does Ryan Jett on his shorts. 2 very athletic, aggressive fighters. Rebel right off the break ball.
Yeah, good jab there by Reffell, backing up Jett.
Body shots in the clinch there by Ryan Jett.
Reffell being smart in there, trying to take away the space from Jett on the inside.
That'll also work on your cardio very quickly.
Yeah, a lot of wrestling there. Good jab there by Jett.
Nice right hand by Ryan Jett.
And again, Jett, when he closes the gap, again smothering himself there. He's a little bit too much of a rush when he gets on the inside. Ends up smothering himself instead of keeping that proper range. He's already got the guy backing up. Reffell's already backing up, so you can actually time him with team up for some good shots. And he's in a little bit of a rush, just a little bit of too much intensity there from Jett. And this fight is sort of developing in an awkward way for both of these guys. It's sort of like sleeping with somebody for the first time, It's like, they've got to get their rhythm going first. Oh, good hook there by Reffell. And then it gets more fun to watch after. This fight.
I once in my career said, that was Joe Rogan who said that. I guess now, Magic Man, that was Paulie who said that.
You can see the awkwardness. They both want to fight, and you can tell they both know how to fight, but just the way their styles are meshing right now, it's sort of getting a little bit sloppy in there.
If you're Ryan Jett, you want to avoid, I would say, every one of these clinch opportunities that you're basically giving to your opponent.
Yeah, because, you know, it also takes a lot of energy out of you to wrestle out of that clinch, you know. But again, now Jett using that jab, and that's why I think he's got to do a better job up there, using those straight punches so that he can, you know, keep Reffell at range. But you see, as soon as he gets him at range, backing up a little bit, he rushes in too fast and he winds up in the clinch. I think Reffell wants to let this fight kind of drag on and test the durability that Jett has.
Cover a little more ground. Missing by about this much. You see it, right? You're right off the end of it. Everything there.
So early on, it was Reffell that backed up Jett, but then Jett came back, backing up Reffell. But in both situations, you notice that they both wound up in clinches. Whoever ends up being the aggressor ends up being too over-aggressive. Ends up body to body with the opponent, and then they wind up in an awkward clinch. That's sort of where this has to develop into. It's got to kind of start to blend into a fight that, you know, evolves into something that, you know, basically doesn't get so awkward, distance-wise.
Especially given the fact that Ryan Jett, at least so far, has not really had too much effectiveness within that clinch. So if you're not doing damage in that clinch, why go to it?
Yeah, and you see, I don't think he's doing to it on purpose. I think he's just falling in because he's over pursuing. And you just gotta have the presence of mind how hard to step in, how hard not to step in, so that you're not smothering your own work.
Ryan said he wants a rematch with Sam Liera. His right shoulder was injured in that fight. That was his debut back in March of 2022. Ended up getting a surgery on the right shoulder, then the left shoulder. He's back and ready right now.
There's some work on the inside there. At times, one guy will get the other hand free, and then some work will get done in there. But again, it's still awkward because there's a lot of hugging in there as well. So we're not able to leverage their shots. There's some good shots by Jett. You see, when Reffell backs up, Reffell's not punching. So you know, you can see Reffell has a hard time backing up and fighting. So it's up to Jett to back him up, but then not smother himself, because you've already got Reffell backing up and he can't punch back at you. So you want to be able to keep enough space as he's backing up so you can actually land your punches. Because if you notice, Reffell's not punching back when he's backing up. Good shot there by Jett. And now Jett's starting to understand the distance. That was a big right hand there. I don't know if he's going to get credit for that, but I could have been a knockdown. That was a good right hand he got over. But of course, Jett goes right back and smothers himself. Of course. Right when he had a big opportunity.
If one thing was a must learn to leave the Trigon with, it's to remain composed if you're Ryan Jett. He had that no contest with Angel Hernandez, and he said later that he took responsibility for the confusion. He got, basically the fight was over. He apologized immediately. It was a no contest.
1 minute.
And we know about the toughness of Ryan Jett, because that fight, his pro debut against Sam Liera, Ryan Jett truly was a mess. He said he didn't feel the punishment until the next day. I'm pretty sure he felt it massively that next day. Sam Liera, our BYB super middleweight interim world champion.
A lot of talking going on by both guys.
Jett likes that.
I tell you, Reffell is almost trying to wait out Jett. He's not really trying to do too much, and Jett is starting to find a good home for that right hand. He's starting to, I mean, he's throwing it from a proper distance. Of course, he follows up by smothering himself, but at least he's getting off a good initial shot from a good range where he's able to leverage that punch. And you see, starting to see the damage on the left side of Reffell's face from it.
Final seconds of the round.
And again, Reffell going straight back. He's getting hit with those long punches.
Listen to me. Great, he's laying his head down. Yeah, what you need to do now.
Wipe his face down, wipe his face down, wipe his face. Wipe his face. See some of the work in there. This was some of that awkward clinch work, but you started to see as the round went on. This could have been a knockdown here. I mean, Jett lands a good right hand, backs up Reffell, and then Reffell didn't look like he had as much legs under him. he doesn't get the credit for the knockdown. We saw a couple of other right hands as the round progressed. Now you're seeing the damage from those right hands on the left cheek of Reffell.
Okay, ready to continue?
Seems like Reffell's trying to take Jett into deeper waters to hopefully try to drown him for his sake. Right. But at the same time, Jett is also starting to find a home for those punches. He's punching from the proper distance. Now, he's not able to follow up still because he's over pursuing, but he is starting to at least find a distance for his initial attack and backing up Reffell. And when you back up when the guy's throwing straight punches, what happens? You still get hit. And that's what Reffell's been doing. That's a mistake Reffell's been making here.
Round three. Stars and stripes, black trunks, Ryan Jett. Black and gold trunks for Martin Reffell.
Reffell slips in, Jett slips in his own corner. And the rest telling the corner to wipe the wet off the corner. You saw Reffell. He tried to get off to a good start here. He's trying to take mental control here of the fight by trying to be first. And that's what I think you got to do against Jett. You got to try to be first. Sort of try to put him on the back step himself, and sort of try to bully the bully in some ways, you know. And I think Reffell, we're in round 3 now. He's got to start to be first, because if you let Jett be first, you let him grow in confidence.
Just missed with the uppercut. One thing that Martin Reffell told us during the fighter interviews is, I don't believe in game over until the game is over. So he's got some toughness that he wants to put on display as well. Ryan Jett doing the damage, especially on the left side of the face of the Rebel.
And Jett trying to still launch those right hands.
Hands up.
Trade jabs there. And again, I think Reffell has to do a better job of being first there. I think there's a moment here where you can start to take control of the fight from Jett if you consistently be first. I don't think it has to be even with hard punches. You just consistently be first and you can mentally stress Jett. Because Jett will fire off some really tricky, hard shots if you give him the time. And he'll put you into some trouble. And he hits hard. So, there are times when you can frustrate Jett by sort of bullying him back and being first. And he shows some of the signs of that frustration. A couple rounds ago, he got warned for a headbutt, and he had that issue against Hernandez a couple of fights ago. So he does get frustrated. You can put him in that situation, but you've got to be good enough and you've got to be mentally strong enough to get him there. Otherwise, Jett is a difficult guy to deal with if you start letting him get into rhythm, because he's an athletic guy with good punching power.
Both of his wins inside the Trigon have been first round finishes. We are in round number 3, scheduled for 5 for this one.
I tell you, all this wrestling is going to start to wear on the conditioning of both of these guys.
Exactly what I've said and thought the whole time.
You see, Jett gave a bladed stance there, but now he's not as hippity hop on his legs. There's a bladed stance trying to hold his ground and maybe try to land some shots. There's a good hook there by Reffell. And there's a good hook there by Jett as well.
That's how much Ryan Jett comes forward.
Yeah, but again, he throwing those shots that hard, he's going to get himself more tired, because I think the wrestling is starting to fatigue him a little bit. Remember, Reffell is the one that said it's not over until it's over or something like that, right? Well, repeating Yogi Berra anyway. But
it's not game over until the game is over.
They give each other respect at the end of that round.
I mean, Paul, in 25 years of broadcasting MMA, there were a lot of things that never changed and were very consistent, and one of them is the most grueling style of fighting is when you're in the clinch, when you're in that Greco-Roman or combat sambo world. You're taking your opponent's weight.
And you also just have no way out of it. You got to work in there, you know? It's just like, you know, you can sort of fluff your way through cheap rests here and there when you're walking around the octagon or the Trigon, the ring. You know, you can bluff your way through it, but man, when you're in those clinches and you're just physical work to work, I mean, it's just constant. It's constant, man. It wears on you, and you can start to see the wear and tear on these guys both from the fighting they've done this fight, and also the fatigue from the wrestling they've done.
Big mouths under the left eye of Team BKB's Martin Reffell.
Round 4.
Round number 4. Reffell landing a bit in that clinch. Now warned for shots to the back of the head.
So Jett, in 1 second, he's trying to tell him don't punch in the back of his head. With the same hand that he's pointing to the back of his head, he's throwing the punch.
I think Ryan could be one of the fighters and the referee, or at least he would believe so in a lot of his fights.
You see again, Reffell shooting in with that clinch, trying to make it a physically grueling fight. And you see Jett trying to get those right hands over.
Almost WWE there.
But Reffell too, he's got to try not to go straight back because he's going to go into the path of that straight right hand. You can't back away from a straight shot. You've got to slip it. You see Reffell's instant reaction is to go straight back, and it helps Jett land those right hands.
Jett with a lead left hook.
Step off, let him go. Step back, let him go. Whoa, hands up.
Close fight.
Close fight, but you can see the better shots consistently being landed by Jett. Reffell is, I feel like Reffell's, again, he's trying to get Jett to a place where he's going to be uncomfortable. And in the meantime, Jett is hanging in, and he's winning the fight. He's landing the better shots, he's throwing the better shots. He's just got to be careful how to get himself disqualified.
Last warning.
That's not good because he's got a round and a half to go.
You got that right. And you factor in, Paulie, that what could have been scored a knockdown was not scored a knockdown, so you don't want to be giving points away. I mentioned Sam Liera earlier. We'll be back in our home of South Florida Thursday, August 10th for BYB 19 Brawl in the Pines. 3 titles on the line that night.
I don't know with those clinches what happened, man, but Jett's eyes closed. Jett's eyes closed, and some of those left hooks there that I think Reffell has started to throw.
And even the corner of the Reffell shouting he can't see out of that eye. He can't see. That is a big mouse
30
under
seconds.
the right eye.
And you see Reffell trying to back up Jett with those left hooks. You know, the referee also has to give Reffell warnings for the head in there too. I mean, Reffell's head was right in Jett's face there. I mean, that was, he's warning Jett for using the head, but that was rather obvious on the part of Reffell.
Good uppercuts land for Ryan Jett. Final seconds of round 4.
Wait, step off, let him go.
Jett pursuing.
Took a point, he's taking a point.
Yeah, that was, I mean, the bell did ring. He could have left that one in his pocket. You can see that Jett is starting to get a little frustrated. I mean, the ref's not helping because, like I said, I mean, Reffell's also using his head, and he's not warning Reffell at all for using the head.
Let's take a look at it.
But it's up to Jett to remain calm in here. See some of those shots, and he backs up Reffell.
If you keep from the left or right hand, you're gonna catch
some of this physical work, you know, Jett could save for himself, you know, because you're playing with the edge of the rules, and you've got a referee who's trying to, you know, who's a bit on your case for them. He's starting to see that you're trying to bend the rules a little bit, and that was, you know, clearly after the bell. I mean, there's no excuse for that.
And because he had been warned for headbutts, etc. earlier, the ref said the warnings are over, and he takes a point.
And I think Jett's winning this fight, but the thing about
Let's have it, London!
Can he get to the finish line here without losing points and without falling apart here? With Reffell, one thing he's not been as explosive as Jett, but he's been consistent.
Final round!
5th and final round. Ryan Jett, Team BYB. Black trunks with the stars and stripes. Black and gold trunks for Martin Reffell.
Oh, there's some good work on the inside from both guys. You can see Reffell's been told to use that left hook on the inside. Oh, big right hand there by Jett. Wow, and you can see Reffell actually grimacing on the inside of that clinch. From taking it, he took a clean shot, and Reffell's still trying to smother Jett, trying to recover from that.
Fifth bare knuckle fight of both men's professional career. Now in the clinch situation,
you see Reffell's trying to punch back. Yeah, Reffell's not even trying to punch back in there. I think he felt that big right hand about 15, 20 seconds ago. Now he finally gets in there trying to work his way in from the hook. See the bladed stance again of Jett, but he can't see the hooks. And Reffell's smart, jumping with that left hook there. If you're Reffell, you gotta double and triple up those hooks.
Just missed with the right hand. We saw the durability on display in his BYB professional debut against Sam Liera. Then you got a guy in Reffell who said the game's not over until the game is over.
Yeah, and good counter left hook there by Reffell again, and now it's Jett who's trying to smother the work and get a bit of a rest. Fatigue, arm weariness of both guys now starting to show it. Now they're falling into clinches, just in a weary sense.
Which is what we thought we may see, Paulie, with all the clinching that's been done in this matchup. Final minute of this 5-round fight. Sneaky right hand. Delivered and connected by the Brit.
A right hand there back from Jett after missing the left uppercut. Who is going to bank on being first here? A short uppercut there.
Jett's looking for that uppercut in the middle.
Jett can't see. I don't know if the rubber bone's close. Here's a headbutt there from Reffell.
15 seconds remain. Final seconds of the fight.
Jett would just shorten some of those right hands up. He landed them more often. He's overshooting the target there. And Reffell also not getting off on that range. Close fifth round. You know, both guys did a little bit of work and a lot of smothering.
You got that right. And now the non-knockdown and the point deduction is a big factor on the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jett's eye socket is broken, man. That's some bad swelling. The thing about this, if he looks like this now, just imagine how he's going to look on the plane right home.
Well, if it is unfortunately a broken orbital bone, they won't let him fly home for a while.
Yeah.
Can't take the pressure.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point. I thought of that. Yeah.
Josh Koscheck had his orbital bone broken by George St. Pierre in Montreal. He went to Boston to have surgery, then had to wait a couple of weeks, Paulie, to fly home.
Yeah, I remember. I got my orbital bone broken. Yeah, they told me I couldn't fly either after the surgery and whatnot. See some of the action there. There's a good right hand there by Jett. He would use that awkward up jab, almost left uppercut to get Reffell backed up, and then he would, as he's backing up, he would shoot the right hand. A lot of times that's how he was able to land some of those right hands. But as the fight wore on, he was a little bit arm weary, a little bit leg weary, and so you saw some of this. He started to just get sloppy, and things just weren't landing as cleanly as they could have for both guys. But credit to Jett, he was consistently trying to be first. He was consistently trying to create more action.
Will it be enough? Judges have rendered their decision. Will it be Jett or will it be Reffell? With the official decision, here is Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 full rounds inside the Trigon, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Judges Page and White see the contest 48-46, while Judge Simmons sees it 49-45, declaring your winner by unanimous decision and earning a victory for their team in the Bare Knuckle International Cup, Ryan Jett.
Unanimous decision victory for Ryan Jett.
And Jett gets credit for, trying to consistently be first. I think that was a big deal. I think Reffell tried to smoke him out, tried to drown him out late, but Jett dug down and was able to consistently be first.
Our winner, Ryan Jett. Ryan, you're on a win streak now here inside the Trigon. Earned a win here tonight across the pond and earned a win for BYB. How do you feel, besides a little swollen?
Hey, man, I feel good, man. Hey, London, I love y'all, man. I know I came out here to fight your boy, and it is what it is. But, man, I've been getting nothing but love out here since I've been out here. And, yeah, I ain't think it was that many black people out here, too, I ain't gonna lie. So, I've been excited to be out here, man, and kick it and meet people, you know. The love I get, you know. Y'all know how it is in the U.S. You hear about the racism, but I don't feel that shit at all out here, man. I just tell everybody just love. So, I just want to appreciate everybody, man.
Now, Ryan, I'm assuming we're going to see you back in the Trigon again soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anyone you want to thank here, obviously, besides your new fans in London?
I want to shout out the whole BYB, because they put up with my ass. I'm so unresponsive when it comes to talking to people and shit. So I just want to thank BYB for dealing with me and everybody that support me. You know, my personality, I just duck off, you know what I'm saying? But I love everybody. It's all love. Call me if you need me.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Ryan Jett.
Ryan Jett by unanimous decision. And Team BYB goes up 2-1. And if he loves the people here in London, if he has to have surgery, he may have a couple of weeks more, Paulie, to spend some quality time with him. Up next, a middleweight matchup. 25-year-old Matt Phillips, 2-0 as a bare knuckle fighter. He will enter the Trigon for the first time. This will be the second entrance into the Trigon for 42-year-old Paul Hilz. He is taller, the 2-inch reach for Hilz as we get set for this middleweight matchup in the mighty Trigon. With the official introductions, once again, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BYB 18, live on beIN Sports. BYB has regained the lead tonight for the International Bare Knuckle Cup. They lead 2-1. Our next contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, representing Team BKB from Essex. Here is Paul Hilz.
I grew up on 110s and A-Rexes, where snags get but ain't festive.
Paul Hilz keeps busy. 6-5, so tonight his 12th bare knuckle fight in his professional career. He had 11 fights from June of 2019 until March of this year, averaging a fight every 4 months. Tonight, he takes on a younger opponent in Matt Phillips, who has 2 fights in his bare knuckle career, and he said straight out, he's young, he's fit, so I've got to be aware of that. I've got to be aware of Phillips' athleticism and his endurance, but Paul Hills' plan is to drag him into the deep water and use the experience that he has gained over his 11 professional fights.
And that's the thing, those savvy veterans, a lot of times they understand how to kind of navigate through those early, intense rounds of the youngsters and bring them to those deep waters. Let's see how Hill handles it tonight. Hills.
Paul Hills defeated Curtis Stitt, a BYB competitor, back in June of 22. That was here inside the Indigo at the O2. That was a BKB event, and then he had success in his next fight, but he did lose to Alan Arzeno at Trump National.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB from New York, here is Matt Phillips.
let's get the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division, where the victor will earn 1 point for their team as we head towards the winner of the International Bare Knuckle Cup. This bout is brought to you by Buy Sell Clothing, live on BN Sports. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner, he stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 157.4 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 6 victories versus 5 defeats, with all 6 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Representing Team BKB, fighting out of Essex, London, England, introducing Paul Soul Snatcher Hilz. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 161 pounds. He comes to us with an undefeated bare knuckle record of 2 victories versus 0 losses. Representing Team BYB, he fights out of Elmira, New York, USA, introducing Matt Babyface Phillips. Our referee in charge, Bill Clancy.
The veteran Bill Clancy, our referee.
Could have fought that way during that.
Phillips and Hilz.
Round 1.
Here we go.
Round 1.
Black, gold, and camo trunks for BKB's Soul Snatcher, Paul Hilz, Matt Phillips in the black and white trunks. Good shot early.
Over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You good, Paul? What?
11 fights for Paul Hilz. Only 1 has gone the distance. And at this pace, win or lose, that may stay consistent.
I guess he said, you know what, forget about it. Let me not give this young guy time.
Yeah.
We try to rush him a little bit. I've got the experience.
Baptism by fire, right?
Yeah, I've got the experience. Let me get to him.
Able to block that right hook of Phillips there. All 6 wins for Paul Hilz have been by knockout.
He's got to try to stay off the ropes there. Phillips now trying to work him and trying to use that speed. There's a good jab by Hilz, but again, if he stays on the ropes there, it's hard to block like that with bare hands because a lot of the shots can still get through. See, like you right there, sort of the sort of the boxing defense, but it doesn't work as well. I found you actually got to open your hands. I think Hilz should be opening his hands so you cover up more of your face, but he's also not firing back enough. You're going to fire back like you're going to have defend like that. You've got to catch and shoot, which Hilz does, but not enough to get Phillips discouraged. And Phillips has gotten off some really good shots here in this round.
First time inside the Trigon for Elmira, New York's Matt Phillips. Good body shot.
Yeah. For the first time, Phillips has a good calmness there.
Very much so.
1 minute remaining.
One thing I don't notice a lot of feint. One thing I don't notice is feints in a lot of this. There's one from there. Did you hear me?
Yep, he did hear you. Well, we're far enough away not to get our shirts ruined, but close enough that they can hear us. Yep.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, man. Sometimes, you know, you got a guy with such a tight defense like Hilz. Maybe you can feint him into a false move and open him up a little bit.
30 seconds.
I mean, the hand position for Paul Hilz with gloves on is pretty close to perfection. But Paulie, as you pointed out, there's still space with bare knuckles.
Yeah, and you don't want to be squared up on the ropes. I mean, there's the other mistakes Hilz has made there. And then see, as you can see there, Phillips gets right through the guard. You can throw that straight right hand there, and it's going to get through that guard if you throw it down the pipe straight like that. So that's why Hilz also has, if you're going to be in that kind of defensive position, you got to be ready to fire back right away, like he was there. That time he's done it.
That was a good right hand to finish the round. of the round, Paulie, Phillips was parrying a lot of the punches thrown by Paul Hilz.
Yeah.
With the right hand, he utilized the parry, but then got caught at the end of the round.
And there was a knockdown, right? No, we actually just saw him down, but we didn't actually see the punch. But this was the response from Hilz after being knocked down was, you know, him trying to overwhelm the young Phillips. Phillips responded well and started to back Hilz up to the corner and shooting those shots right up the middle between the gloves. And this is why Hilz is, you know, very bloodied up, because a lot of those shots down the middle were able to penetrate that guard of Hilz.
And Phillips really turns that shoulder, extending the 70-inch reach with long punches. Round number 2. Black and white trunks for babyface. Team BYB's Matt Phillips. Team BKB's Soul Snatcher Paul Hilz in the black, gold, and camo.
Oh, good hook right hand there by Phillips. Went try to around the guard to try to open up the guard with the hook, and then came down the middle with the right hand after the guard was opened up. Good little trap set there by Phillips. And that's what you do again with a guy who's got that high guard. You try to, you know, get him to move that guard a little bit so you can penetrate it.
He talked about utilizing his power and speed. He's got some pretty good technique that he's put on display thus far, too. Both men, first and foremost, want their arm raised. Secondly, they know they're representing their organization.
Hilz attacks in spots, and he just lets them all go in spots, but he's not really choosing the shots in a punch selective type of way. So whatever lands, lands. Whatever doesn't. While Phillips, on the other hand, looks to put Hilz in certain positions before he starts to fire. He's a bit more cerebral in the way he attacks. Hilz is sort of hot and cold, and when he's hot, he just goes with whatever he can throw. He's not really seeing what he's seeing methods in which he's gonna trap Phillips and land the shots.
Which, Paulie, the description you just gave is probably the main reason why Paul Hilz has 6 wins, all by knockout, but he has been finished in 4 of his 5 losses.
Yeah, you can see here, he's the older fighter, but actually Phillips is a smarter fighter here. You know, he's actually changing distance a little bit, using various ways of attack. Good little right hand there. The way he disguised it on the out and then on the in. But you know, not really a lot of deception on the part of Hilz. He's just got a high guard. He tries to slowly plod forward, and if he can get in range, he's going to throw the shots. But it's been Phillips who's changing range, changing distance, and has the better shot selection, and also has had the better defense as far as parrying shots and slipping and sliding away from shots. And transitioning, most importantly, transitioning that defense to the offense. Even there, Hilz gets off a lot of shots, but a lot of them are smothered, and that's why he's not able to do the damage. Because again, when Hilz is throwing, he's just throwing in bunches. He's not really thinking about what he's throwing. While on the other hand, Phillips is actually trying to think his way through the shots and the combination that he throws. He's looking at time, and there you see the result is better.
A couple of good shots from Hilz at the end of the round in the clinch.
Good job. That's parrying your jab. He's over parrying.
Couple of cuts on the face of Paul Hilz.
Yeah, why does that happen? That comes from no head movement. Hilz has no head movement. He just has the high guard. But again, with bare knuckle, the shots, if they're thrown explosively enough and they're thrown straight enough, they're going to penetrate that kind of guard, you know, and there's absolutely no head movement on the part of Hilz, and most of the time he's actually squared up, so for defensive purposes, you don't want to be squared up. So there's a reason why he's looking the worst for wear, while Phillips, on the other hand, has been changing the distance, changing range, having a little fun in there, and, you know, even has been able to deceptively select shots that have thrown Hilz off and landed very, very hard. A couple of good right hands, even that last round, a really good right hand that, I mean, you hear those clapping sounds when they land.
That and a bunch of scar tissue on the face of Paul Hilz as he fights bare knuckle for the 12th time as a professional. 2-1 Team BYB.
Yeah, we'll tell you, when you get older, the cuts open up much easier.
Yep.
I can remember the later part of my career, too. The shots that would barely touch me would open up cuts, but Hilz doesn't do himself any favors with having no headroom and taking right hands like that, you know? His defense is basically to keep his hands up. He's squared up, and his, you know, the shots are going to get through.
And Phillips looks extremely comfortable.
Well, look at the difference with Phillips. He changes range. He also changes levels. A lot of times he'll duck, he'll get underneath, he'll angle out. That's why defensively, you know, Hilz is having a hard time finding.
He splits jabs there. He's parried a bunch of punches. Big swing and a miss by Paul Hilz.
That's what I mean. Even to parry shots, it takes a certain amount of calmness because you've got to actually see the shot coming and knock it out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, well, as opposed to just having your hands high in a high guard, you're not really seeing the shots. You're just hoping, you know, you're just hoping that your hands being high will protect you. But of course, the guy who's alert and aware, like Phillips, will punch between those hands. Now they're exchanging jabs and a bloody nose on the part of Phillips.
And Paulie, it's worthy of note with the parrying being so effective for Phillips that he also is a kickboxer. He's 4-0 in K1, so you parry that punch and follow with the leg kick. He's used to utilizing that defensive move from punches up top.
The fluidity going back and forth. He's got some swelling on his left eye, though, so Hilz has obviously landed at least a good right hand here in this round.
You turn. Past the midway point of this 5-round fight.
60 seconds.
You see Phillips does what Jett wasn't doing last round. You see he gets his man on the ropes, and look what he does. He just holds that distance, and he holds his man there. He holds his man there and keeps that mental pressure on without smothering himself. Oh, hard jab there.
The 2 wins for Phillips, Paulie. One was a first-round knockout, and his most recent fight, which was March of last year, was a 5-round unanimous decision victory.
Oh, blood is flying everywhere, guys.
Looking for the finish here.
Tell you what, I'm glad we're not ringside yet, Logan. That's for sure.
Ten seconds.
Can't say the same for the camera, guys.
Yeah.
They took a blood shower there. Oh, good shots there by Phillips. Again, punch awareness, punch selection, as he punched around the guard of Hilz there. Looks like some of the blood is getting here, huh, Goldie?
It did.
Your iPad felt it, that's for sure.
It did indeed. I'm checking my shirt right now, Paulie.
Yeah.
Kind of wearing it in a couple days.
We gotta keep aware.
That's right. I mean, Matt Phillips is out boxing, out techniquing Paul Hilz.
Okay, looks like they stopped it.
Yep.
Let's go! I ain't come over here
it
and
is all
fucking
over.
lose. I'm
Matt
out of New York.
Phillips,
Everybody that supported me,
victorious.
I love you.
And we had mentioned at the end of the previous round, the cuts suffered by Paul Hilz, and not much of an argument by a really, really tough fighter in Paul Hilz.
And they were getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, nice job by the doctors. Fighter safety always priority number 1. And Paulie, that swelling was just going to get worse, which would have made it very tough for Hilz to see the punches coming at him.
Yeah, and the cuts, they're very, very deep.
Yes.
I tell you that. That's going to take some stitches in there.
So Matt Phillips, victorious in his BYB debut, and adds another victory to the ledger of Team BYB. Getting set for our official decision.
Thank you, Knox. Fucking A.
is one fired up. Matt Phillips.
Fucking night.
Thank you for representing the United States.
Belfast, New York puts a nice medallion around the neck of Elmira, New York, and also Paul Hilz, as we get the official decision from Big Bo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Clancy calls a stop to this contest at the end of the third round, declaring your winner by TKO and earning another victory for Team BYB and still undefeated, Matt Babyface Phillips.
Congratulations to both you guys. Warriors, both of you.
So BYB goes up 3-1 now.
Yes. And Bill Clancy, you could hear saying both you guys warriors, and that is a very accurate statement.
You're a warrior, man. You're a warrior.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Matt Phillips. Got a win for yourself. Gave BYB now a commanding 3-1 lead in the International Cup, and you're still undefeated. Pretty good night.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good night. It's been a long trip over here. I didn't get to experience the London experience I was hoping for, but we came over here to handle business, and that's what we got done. I'm happy to have the victory. Shout out to Paul Hilz. You know, he's a very tough veteran. When they offered me that fight, I accepted it on a day's notice. If I'm gonna be in here fighting anymore, I wanna fight the best guys. Mel, everybody at BYB, you know, I think I earn myself a little something here. I want to get a little bit more gold before I step away from this sport. I'd like to get a shiny belt around my waist. Let me know a date. Let's talk some business. And let's go Brandon for everybody back in the USA. Save the kids. Let's hang some pedophiles. Fucking drain the swamp. Everybody at the Moose, everybody in Elmira, New York. This is what we came to do, Jeff Knox. I love you more than words can ever fathom. I owe everything to him. And can't wait to get back home and see everybody that I love and supports me.
Well, you covered all my questions. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Matt Babyface Phillips.
Matt Babyface Phillips, yes, he experienced some really long flight delays and finally made it here to London, and he will leave victorious as it is now 3-1 Team BYB.
Coming home, baby. Thank you, London. Thank you.
BN Sports in Espanol is now the exclusive home for live BYB action in the US and Canada. And fans can tune in weekly to Fighting Fridays to catch the best of BYB and the best battles inside the Trigon. Check your local listings and times at bnsports.com. We are live on BN Sports here for the first ever Police Gazette International Cup. The battles continue, a super middleweight matchup. 36-year-old Robert Serna against 36-year-old Robbie Adamson, who comes in and takes this fight on just 3 days' notice. 2-0 record inside the Trigon for Robert Serna. He will have a significant reach advantage.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our viewers joining us around the world on BN Sports. BYB now takes a 3-1 lead for the International Bare Knuckle Cup here at the Indigo from the world-famous O2 Arena. Our next contest features 2 undefeated bare knuckle fighters scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner from Bradford, England, here is Robbie Adamson. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner from Texas, here is Robert Serna.
Getting set for his third fight inside the Trigon, his second fight here inside the Indigo at the O2 Arena. BYB 12, when we were here 1 year ago, Robert Serna defeated Jack McLean 33 seconds into the second round, and he did it with a nasty body shot. His debut was against Mattia Fonda. It was the fight of the night, so we know that Robert Serna is more than ready to go.
And Serna can skill you, or he can out-trench you.
Yes.
If that's an adjective to describe.
He's been with his wife, Tiffany. They've been together for almost 2 decades, married for the last 3 years. His oldest child is Jasmine, who is 16, and he said that Genesis, the 5-year-old, is his motor mouth, and Dionisio, the 2-year-old, is in the terrible twos.
That can happen, though, at that age.
Yes, it can. I speak from experience. It can happen at a lot of ages.
Ladies and gentlemen, this super middleweight bare knuckle contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds and is brought to you live on beIN Sports. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mr. Clive Allison. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 162 pounds. He comes to us with an undefeated bare knuckle record of 1 victory versus no defeats. Representing Team BKB, he fights out of Bradford, England. Introducing Robbie Adamson. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 165 pounds. He comes to us with an undefeated bare knuckle record of 2 victories versus no defeats. And he fights out of Beeville, Texas, USA, representing Team BYB. Here is Robert Serna.
Bout number 6 of the night. 5th battle for the International Cup.
Round 1.
Here we go. Robbie Adamson. Robbie hit hard. Adamson in the pink, catch by Billy Bolt.
Trying to keep that range, shooting those 1-2s early on is Adamson. Serna trying to come forward with that high guard in the southpaw stance.
The southpaw Robert Serna in the black metallic silver gladiator trunks.
It's not wet. I know, it's wet. It's just, no, it's not wet, it's shit.
It was a slip. Set some wetness on the canvas there. Yeah, the way he went down validates that. They wiped it off. The battle continues. Round number 1. Mike Goldberg, my powerful partner, the Magic Man, former 2-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi from the Indigo at the O2 Arena in London, England, and these 2 men are pros.
And somehow Serna always winds up in this kind of fight where he's just gonna outwill you. And now you're stuck. If you draw yourself into this kind of fight with Serna, now you're stuck. And now he's not gonna get off you.
Fire fight, right? Oh, yeah. Good shot to the body.
And the thing is, Adamson now, he's fighting, but now the problem he's got is he's going to be stuck in this kind of fight. Is he ready for that?
Good work in the clinch, which is allowed under BYB rules.
Cut there on the top of the left eye of Serna from that inside work.
Serna 2-0, as I mentioned. A win here in October of last year.
Shot on the inside by Adamson, big right hand.
And a win in his debut fight of the night. Adamson is game, Paulie.
Yeah. Serna pressing him back, but he's responding with shots. And on the outside, he's got this awkward head movement that he punches off of, which, if you're gonna be awkward, you gotta be able to punch off it if you're gonna be, there's gonna be any kind of trickery.
20 professional boxing bouts for Robbie Adamson. British pit fighting champion and an orange belt in kickboxing. He's covering up now.
High contact in this fight. Both of these guys are gonna end up making this a battle of wills if this continues like this. Oh. I've seen Serna in this kind of fight. I know he's a guy who's durable in this kind of fight. Will Adamson be durable in this kind of fight? Oh, good body shots there by Serna. Remember, he's got that body shot stopping.
Let's go, baby!
Scores the knockdown late in the round.
5, 6, 7.
I mean, that nasty body shot to finish McLean here.
Oh, another good body shot there by Serna.
Just shut down the body, literally, of the brick. Round 1 in the books.
I don't know if I'm going crazy, but I don't know if it's like the referee was counting Adamson and he was coaching him to take a breath as well. The same time. You noticed that? Because I noticed that.
I did.
Yeah. And remember, he's the same guy who refereed Jett a little bit harder than he refereed Reffell in the same fight. Just starting to question a little bit of hometown antics.
Yeah.
From now two times in a row, you know? I mean, this is one time okay, but now 2 fights in a row. Let's see.
No idea why I use that word, but it just sounds cool. Tomfoolery.
You see some of the body attack of Serna there. Good action from both guys, honestly. Yeah, even Adams did some really good work in there. And obviously, Serna's face is showing the wear of it with that cut. But remember, Serna's got a sneaky body attack, as you mentioned. He's got a stoppage to the body. And a bare knuckle, it's a little bit less common, but Serna is a very, very good body puncher, even in this bare knuckle stuff.
And in the big picture, as delicate as your hands become, with no gloves, going to the body's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but I always thought that was a bit overrated because you got elbows there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
One of my fights that I broke my hand in with gloves, I actually broke it on an elbow, going to the body. You gotta expect, you go into the body, it's softer, but you gotta also expect your opponent is gonna try to block him with elbows.
Yes, yep.
Oh, good shot there by Adamson. Caught Serna on the way in. That's a big knockdown.
So 1-1.
Caught him on the way in with a nice little short hooking right hand. And southpaws can be susceptible to that little right hook from the right-handed stance. It's not usually a punch you look for a right-hander to throw against another right-hander, but against a southpaw, it's an effective punch. And Adamson showed it there.
Big swing and a miss by Adamson, but then a great jab lands. We got ourselves a fight, Paulie.
Oh, yeah. These guys are going at it. I think Adamson also realizes his team needs a win here.
Yeah.
Combination by Serna.
Lead uppercut. Scores.
Adamson's got to be careful forcing those shots. You see Serna drop some stuff to the body off of that.
Serna is relentless in his attack.
Yeah, that's like I said, man. I mean, we've seen Serna in this kind of fight where it becomes a battle of attrition. He doesn't mind going right to the trenches.
Oh, right up the middle.
Wow. Good on Adamson to take that, man. A lot of guys will go down from a barehanded uppercut like that on the inside. Adamson is one tough nut to crack.
On 3 days' notice.
Yep, and if you're not careful, he'll throw some hard punches back, as Serna has found out earlier in this fight, earlier in this round, actually.
Another good shot by Serna.
Oh, two good hooks there from Serna from the right-handed stance. As Adamson's getting a little bit arm wear and he's falling in with that jab. He's got to be careful.
Again, short notice, and I think we're seeing the effects of that, Paulie.
Yeah, and also you see the effect of the body shots too. I'll be honest. Serna, a very good body puncher. Probably, maybe the best body puncher I've seen in BYB. And he's showing it.
Those body shots will accelerate the emptying of your opponent's gas tank.
Well, we did used to have Seth Schaefer too. He was a good body puncher.
That is true. That is true.
Oh, good body shots there. Adamson's starting to wear down a little bit. Now, how do you score this round? Because Adamson has the knockdown. Of course, Adamson answers that with a couple of shots to the face of Serna. He's saying, no, give me two, give me a 10-8 round, he's saying.
10 seconds, lad.
There you go! Oh, my goodness, and there's that body shot. Great flurry at the end for Robert Serna.
Yeah, and Adamson going back to the corner very, very slowly.
Listen to me.
And I'm telling you, the relentlessness of Serna does not stop, and that's what Adamson has weighing on his mind right now as he feels worn out, knowing that there's still 3 rounds to go. I'm telling you, it starts to weigh heavily when you're running out low and when your gas tank is running low. Little fan in the corner of Serna. Towel fan.
I gotta love that.
It never did anything for me, I gotta be honest with you.
No?
The towel fan, no, never. I did like the cold water though.
Yes, yes. And this is the first time of many times I've been in London where I actually felt that the weather was a lot like Georgia.
Georgia the state, not
Georgia the
Georgia
state, correct, yeah. As in hot and humid. 90 degrees today in London and heated up here inside the Indigo at the O2 Arena.
Round 3.
Round number 3. Serna's going to look for a quick finish.
Yeah, he went right fight. He went right for the body with the left hand and then came up with a right hook to the head and backed up Adamson, and now he's going to try to get to work again and try to overwhelm his guy.
Adamson told us he is an influencer. He's an adrenaline seeker. He's going to have to carry that adrenaline to help him with his cardio here.
Adamson, you got to give him credit, man. He's trying to hang tough in there. He's starting to become more and more overwhelmed, but he is not going down as easily, man. And of course, Serna says, okay, I'll keep giving it to you to the body. Maybe that'll take the sting out of you. See, you see Adamson, how he reacts?
Yep.
Break, step off, let him go.
Pride of a fighter.
Come on, sleeping.
Going back to one of our fighters, Frazee told us earlier, it's not game over till the game is over.
Yeah. He's showing himself a little bit of arm weight raise. He throws a 1-2 and falls in himself.
Both men have scored a knockdown. The more dominant fighter has been Robert Serna. But Adamson is in this fight.
Oh, now the big left hand there from Serna. But again, Adamson, a lot of these shots, man, guys go down. Adamson taking them. Oh, and again,
in the corner, changing levels, head, body.
One, two, three, four.
He scored a knockdown for Robert Serna. It is all over. Robert Serna finishes Robbie Adamson.
Yeah, take the shoe.
Big performance from Serna. He had earned this one, man. Adamson was not going to give it up easily. Serna's a very, very complete fighter. He throws good combinations to the head, to the body, mixes well. You know, great hand positioning even defensively as he's an aggressive fighter, while being an aggressive fighter anyway. And Adamson was not going away that easily, man. I mean, he was taking some shots that not only would bring down most guys, but would also take the fight out of them, if anything. And not only did he not take the fight out of him, he was throwing hard shots back at times. He was surprised he said him scoring his own knockdown. But eventually it was too much, and he was overwhelmed by Serna. But got to give credit to Adamson even in defeat. You see the consistency, mental and physical pressure. The guy who just doesn't get off him. You see Adamson every once in a while, he'd show some life. And one of those punches actually was what scored a knockdown around previous round when he was just surprised, came with a surprising big shot. But eventually you see Serna. Serna having the presence of mind to throw some shots hard, some shots soft, position them and place them differently, trying to get to the body. And eventually, ref had seen enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Clive Allison calls a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 52 seconds of round number 3. Declaring your winner by TKO and still undefeated and picking up another win for his team tonight for the International Bare Knuckle Cup, Robert Serna.
3-0 inside the Trigon.
We'll talk in a minute. He's going to interview you, okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Robert Serna. Robert, a win. You stay undefeated. You pick up a win for BYB in the United States. How you feeling tonight?
First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity. And something with this, protected me throughout the fight. I felt great. I came here and did what I wanted to do and came out on top.
Now, undefeated, a lot of experience inside the Trigon. Are we gonna maybe see a title fight at some point? Do we want to see you back in the Trigon?
That's what Mel was telling me at 160 to see if they make it happen. I'm down.
Well, the super middleweight division for BYB is stacked. We've seen a lot of them here tonight, and obviously now you add your name in that conversation as well. Anything that you have to say to your fans back home in the States?
I love y'all guys. I appreciate for your support and whatnot. Also, my other coach is not here to make it. Gerardo Barboza, my sparring partners was Tony and Justin Gonzalez. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Robert Serna.
And Big Mo is right about the super middleweight division. And when we come to you on Thursday, August 10th, it will be unification time. The champion, Jose Fernandez, returns to face the interim champ in the super middleweight division, Sam the Caveman Vieira.
So very proud of you.
And our tail of the tape for a super middleweight matchup, which should be nothing short of tremendous. Laurenti Nelson, 33 years old. Dan McGraffin, 35 years old. Slight reach advantage for LT Smash. Nelson had these two men in a press conference situation yesterday. A lot of mutual respect. Both of them are truly warriors.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BYB 18 live on beIN Sports. Team BYB and the United States of America have taken a commanding 4-1 lead for the International Bare Knuckle Cup tonight, live from the Indigo room here at the world-famous O2 Arena. We move to our next contest, 5 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. Please welcome to the Trigon, representing Team BKB, Dan McGraffin.
All these people are here for you. They're all here for you. Trust versus them. They're all here for you. Score and move all the time. We don't need to stay with him. We can play with him. We can play with him.
Yeah, look, they said that I couldn't do it, so I went and did it.
Dan one-shot McGraffin. When asked about his opponent, Laurenti Nelson being seen in any of his fights. McGraffin quickly said, I've seen his kickboxing, I've seen his King of Sparta, I've seen him in Glory, I've seen him in Letway. They're both a fan of each other. He did say he's watched everything, but he believes that Nelson is hittable. He told us he's a big hitter, prefers dirty boxing. He has never been cut. Probably shouldn't have said that because he said it, Paulie. But he is a left-handed orthodox fighter, like one of his greatest influences as far as professional fighting. Oscar De La Hoya, also a big fan of Ricky Hatton. Floyd Mayweather, both Nick and Nate Diaz, and Dan McGraffin is a big fan of someone who I am a big fan of, the Magic Man, Paulie Maldonado. It's on the bio, I'm not making it up, but Dan McGraffin claims to be the coolest dad in the world. Dan, you're a great fighter, but I'm going to put my title up against him.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB and the United States of America, Laurenti Nelson.
Dan McGraffin is the former BKB super welterweight champion. Why is that relevant? As Smash makes his way to the Trigon, because Smash is looking to defeat another BKB champion. Right in this building last October, he finished Nathan DeCastro in the 3rd round. Made his debut for BYB in Biloxi, Mississippi, and beat former BKB champion Ricardo Franco. He won Sam Liera again. That was a crazy fight. Sam fighting against the champ, Jose Fernandez, forthcoming. Tonight, he can clinch it for Team BYB with a win. And as always, Smash stays very busy. Already in the calendar year of 2023, he earned himself another championship at King of Sparta. That was back on January 28th. Kickboxing victory, MMA victory over a veteran of the UFC in Luis Pena, and then won a kickboxing matchup in February. With the official introductions, Big Bo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this super middleweight contest is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds inside the mighty Trigon, where the winner will earn a victory for their team tonight for the International Bare Knuckle Cup. This bout is brought to you by GC3, live on BN Sports. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Bill Clancy. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 6 feet, 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 165.2 pounds. He holds a bare knuckle record of 3 victories versus 1 defeat. Representing Team BKB, he fights out of Wigan, England. Introducing the former BKB Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Dan One Shot McGraffin. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 161.8 pounds. He comes to us with a bare knuckle record of 2 victories versus 1 loss. He is a kickboxer. He is a boxer. He is an MMA fighter, a lightweight fighter, and a Muay Thai fighter, and a bare knuckle championship contender from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, USA, by way of Peter Maritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, representing Team BYB, here is Laurent T. Smash Nelson!
This should be good, man.
This should be very good. On paper, we had it as the potential fight of the night. McGraffin and Nelson.
And he's got some good fan base too, this McGraffin.
Round
the
one.
crowd here was cheering for him.
Here we go. Black and white trunks for McGraffin. Smashing the green, white.
Good boxing technique shown by McGraffin.
Yep.
As he's getting Laurent T to go straight back and catching him on the end of the shots. Oh, big shot there.
Left hand.
And that's the thing about Nelson. Big power when he does win. You can see the look on McGraffin's face, like, what did I just get hit with?
All right, let's go. Fight continues. Good early start for Smash. He took one there.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and again.
McGraffin's a proud guy. He's a champion at BKB.
So McGraffin's nickname is One Shot. Paulie, he said it's one shot from me and you're on your arse. LT has said before he needs to get punched once to know he's in a fight.
Oh, he's been hit now.
Yeah.
They've both been hit, to tell you the truth, and Nelson's actually caught on his scalp as well.
Quick! No punch. Step back. Step back. Fight.
This is starting out a lot like LT's last fight against Sam Liera.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Nelson likes this kind of fight. He likes to draw you in. Because as he wears you out, he can land his big power. Though McGraffin lands a good shot that gets Nelson on his heels. Good action from both of these guys.
Absolutely. Exactly what we had expected and hoped for. So far, they have delivered.
Stay on his arms, I'll see. Let's stay on his arms.
Oh, good body shot. Oh, Nelson with a
You heard him react, yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Be careful in the corner. They'd be sticking his hand in the ring in the triangle.
There it is. It is all over. Just like that. Laurent T. Smash Nelson by knockout.
He was already very hurt from the body shot. You can see he was lifting his leg. He just started lifting away just by instinct. You know, you're hurt from the body shots. Of course, Nelson went right back to the body, which caused that leg lift. Good action, actually, from both guys. I mean, it was just Nelson landed the more damaging shots. We've seen Nelson before. I mean, he is a very, very damaging puncher. And, of course, he wants that rematch with Liera, so he's going to stop at nothing. Go get it.
All three of Laurent T. Nelson's victories inside the Trigon have been finishes. Franco in the second, the Castro
was the first
in the third.
That was the first knockdown there with a big left hook. As it was McGraffin that went straight back. See some of this action as well as McGraffin actually got Nelson going on his heels a little bit with a couple of the shots he landed. But like you said, Goldie, Nelson has said, I got to get hit in order to wake up. And well, McGraffin hit him there, that's for sure. He woke him up there. That's not going to wake you up. I don't know what will. Because then the body shots there from McGraffin's taken, and you can see he sort of wilts underneath the stress of the body shot. And I think this was the finish. You're going to see him lift his leg. You see that? Lift his left leg, trying to protect his liver, and he just falls right through the ropes. See it again from this angle. You see it right there. I mean, it's just, that's just, you do that, yeah, it actually happens on instinct. It's never happened to me, but I've seen it happen to other guys where you're just hurting so much from the body shot, but you don't want to go down, so instead you lift your leg.
I'll tell you what.
Trying to protect it.
Big props, Paulie, for McGraffin to get up from that body shot.
Yep.
And then Smash went to the body once or twice. He knew that McGraffin would really be conscientious about holding his rib cage, and he goes over the top for the finish.
I mean, good performance by Nelson. Again, we've seen him. He's a very destructive fighter.
Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Clancy calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes of the very first round, declaring your winner by TKO and picking up another victory for his team tonight, Laurent T. Smash Nelson.
His man's a G. Yeah.
We're talking to man. He's been on interview.
Laurent T. LT Smash Nelson. BKB has given you 3 opponents. You've beaten 3 BKB opponents. Now your second time being in London, your second victory in London. How do you feel tonight?
I mean, I feel great, man. Big up, once again, big up to Dan McGraffin, man. He's a G, he's a class act. He comes out here, throws down, ex-world champion. He, you know, there's only up from him for him too, and a big future, and he's the man. And then even if you guys boo me, hate me, it's all good. I hope you guys actually enjoyed the fights and keep enjoying the fights, and we're putting on a show for y'all.
Now, LT, I feel like your career could go in a handful of directions. You fought MMA, you fought kickboxing, bare knuckle, letway. Anything that we can maybe look forward to you doing again?
You know, I love bare knuckle boxing, so, you know, the opportunities are right and money's right, everything, I'm there, but, you know, anything's open for me. MMA, kickboxing, let's go, Muay Thai, you know, I'm ready for everything, but I love BYB, I love this bare knuckle game. Let's go, offer me some stuff, let's go, title belt time, what's up?
Now, you're one of the few people in this world that has competed in letway. Letway's been getting some marketing, some publicity lately. You were being able to help bring letway to North America. I've seen the world champion Dave LeDuc has been looking for maybe his going away fight in letway. It is bare knuckle, it's the same rule set here, but you get to add in kicks, knees, elbows, and a headbutt. Maybe a Dave LeDuc matchup at some point.
Hey, you know what? Dave LeDuc, I've called your ass out before. What's up, Dave? Let's go. I'll fight you tomorrow, fool. I don't care who you are, Dave LeDuc. What's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, LT Smash Nelson.
56th professional combat competition tonight for LT Smash Nelson. Hey, letway is considered one of the most aggressive and powerful martial arts in the world. It's the art of 8 limbs and some headbutts.
Hey, Coach, I didn't say thanks to anyone. I'm so sorry. Hey, Paulie, boy, that was a little technical, right? Hey, I'm working on my shit, boy. I promise. Better.
So it is official. Team BYB has clinched the first ever Police Gazette International Cup with a lead of 5-1, 9 fights involved in this tournament on the scorecard. And so it is done as far as the International Cup, but we have 2 huge titles on the line, and also a battle in the super flyweight division. Shelby Cannon from Anderson, Indiana, 4 years the elder of her opponent, who will have a 5-inch reach advantage. Anderson, Indiana, South Wales, set to meet in the Trigon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BYB 18 live on BN Sports. Team BYB in the United States has taken a commanding 5-1 lead tonight for the International Bare Knuckle Cup. But now we move to the women representing their teams tonight. 5 2-minute rounds in the super flyweight division inside the mighty Trigon. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner representing Team BKB. Here is Tamlyn, Kappen.
Shelby Cannon. Don't forget still to come in the main event. It is the Welsh wrecking machine, Barrie Jones, Tommy the Samurai Turner. Also still to come the rematch between marvelous Marko Martinjak and Jarome Hatch for the Police Gazette Diamond Belt in the Cruiserweight division. Kappen does, well, she tells us she does have a black belt. It's in karaoke. Earned the nickname the Sulk because in her first boxing gym, she would sulk every time there was a run. And so she became Tamlyn the Sulk Kappen. With the glove, British bronze medalist, three-time Welsh finalist.
And her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB, here is Shelby Cannon.
Dan McGraffin, who just fought, served 6 years in the British Army. Shelby Cannon's father, Kevin Greenlee, a proud Marine, protecting the homeland of the United States of America. She is from the heart of the Midwest, Anderson, Indiana, and her eyes were wide open, and she was starstruck the first time she ever met Indiana's Chris Lights Out Lytle. Always called him the bonus king during his days in the UFC. Firefighter, spectacular MMA competitor, good boxer. Chris Lytle, a true legend from the state of Indiana. Shelby Cannon, she's ready to go. She decided to have her first MMA fight in 2018. They said, all right, we're gonna throw you to the Wolves, #2 in the state. So that was an amateur MMA matchup, 1 of 10. This is her first professional combat contract. It is in bare knuckle boxing, courtesy of the BYB.
Ladies and gentlemen, this women's bare knuckle bout is scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds in the super flyweight division and is brought to you by Buy Sell Clothing. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Clive Allison. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall. She weighed in at 115.9 pounds. She is making her bare knuckle debut, and she fights out of Port Talbot, South Wales. Representing Team BKB, introducing Tamlyn the Sulk Kappen. And her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner. She stands 5 feet 1 inch tall. She weighed in at 115.9 pounds. She is making her bare knuckle debut, and she fights out of Anderson, Indiana, USA. Representing Team BYB, Shelby Boom Boom Cannon.
Super flyweight matchup. Shelby Cannon, Tamlyn Kappen. Here we go. White with the baby blue trim for South Wales, Tamlyn Kappen. Black and orange trunks for Shelby Cannon.
Kappen. Tamlyn started fast, man. Cannon started fast, I'm saying. She wasn't even warming up in the corner. I thought she was like, I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea to not be warming up in your own corner. She came out like a bat out of hell all of a sudden. I did not expect that for somebody who wasn't even jumping in place in her own corner. Look how calm she is again. She's getting...
Live Allison just telling her what to and not to do in the clinch.
She takes from 0 to 100 to another level. She thinks that's it. Look at her. Now she's back to 0. Look at her. She doesn't even warm up in this. Look. She doesn't even hop in place. Nothing. She's literally just standing still. She's gonna go back.
Ready to go. Boom, boom. Southpaw. Shelby Cannon.
There she goes again. I think Kappen was a bit thrown off by such a fast start from Cannon.
A lot of clinch work, dirty boxing, and I did mention the amateur MMA fights for Shelby Cannon.
60 seconds.
5 2-minute rounds.
I don't know
for the women.
I don't know what he's warning for. That's allowed, no?
Yeah. Yep. Maybe unintentional hit towards the back of the head. Shelby said she's made adjustments for her right uppercut, trying to cut the angle to bait her to throw the 4. Keep an eye out for it.
30 seconds.
Kappen now with the nosebleed. Oh, big shot there by Cannon. She shot down like a cannon for real.
Absolutely, and the takedown. Clive Allison said, don't, it's not MMA. You know, Paulie, in all fairness to many of our competitors, when you've had that much experience in MMA, it's almost...
Yeah, but it's also not.
It's not allowed, I get it, but sometimes...
No, it's not that it's not allowed. You're trying to mentally get in your opponent's head. Right. So you're physically trying to bully them in this clinch. Yes, you can't toss them, but you to a degree, it's almost allowed. You know what I'm saying? You can't toss them to the floor, obviously. But Kappen went down very easily with that play. I think I don't know. We'll see. I'll see how it goes. I don't mind Cannon doing that because you're trying to mentally bully your opponent and trying to show her, you're the stronger fighter and trying to get in her head, especially when you've attacked her the way Cannon has attacked in round 1. Maybe a half a hip toss, not a whole hip toss. But I also thought Kappen went down very easily because she's overwhelmed from the physicality of Cannon. So you got to keep that in mind before you give a warning as well. Let's see how the second round plays out.
So if it was the 2012 Olympic Games here in London, it would be a 1-point, not 2-point takedown, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, I felt like this referee is a bit of big stroke there tonight.
Round 2.
Bill Clancy.
Yes, I would concur. Round number 2. Fight scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. Very aggressive and effective start for Shelby Cannon. Answered here by Tamlyn Kappen. Kappen in the white with the baby blue, black and orange for the southpaw Cannon.
I think Kappen was also surprised with the way Cannon just goes from 0 to 100 attacking. She closes the gap very, very well. Kappen, when she's going back like this, she's got to figure out a way to counter. She's not throwing any, she's going back. She's not going back in any kind of way to counter. You're the taller fighter. You have more reach. You can draw Cannon into the over-aggression, into counters. Instead, Kappen is just going straight back, and it's putting her on her heels where Cannon wants her and can go out on full attack mode because Kappen is not able to punch off her back foot like that. When you have that kind of height, you really should be able to punch off that step back because you're going to be, odds are you're probably using that step back a lot defensively. But she's not used it, so it's giving Cannon an opportunity to land double left hands like that,
To keep to the same game plan as she started with. And great dirty boxing again from Shelby Cannon.
I think Kappen just overwhelmed here.
Yeah. Man, she stays busy.
Yeah. Oh, big shots, and Kappen's got to be careful with putting her head up like that in the clinch. She's got to stay low in that clinch.
Final 10 seconds of round 2. That's a great angle to show everyone around the world how small the Trigon really is.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
You got that right.
You better try or you're gone, like our buddy Benji says.
You got it. Benny Ricardo, Claudia Trejos also being inducted into the Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame. It'll be a fun 4th of July week for all of us in Belfast, New York.
So some of that action right there. Actually, you see Cannon actually trying to do those step backs and fire back as Kappen was backing her up there. But you see even Cannon, at least when she's stepping back, she's still looking to fire offensively. Kappen, when she goes straight back, she's not really looking to punch back. You see her roll right there, and you see how she's just giving up on trying to attack with her hands down, squared. This is why Cannon has had the advantage in this fight so far. Kappen has been a little bit the worse for wear.
Shelby Cannon said, I need a new air conditioner in my house before the summer heat really hits, so let's go.
There's one way to get it.
You got that right. We did talk about it being hot. One of the 3 hot days of the year here in London. Round number 3. The southpaw Shelby Cannon. Tamlyn Kappen trying to work in the clinch.
Yeah, it's almost like Kappen gets too close for her own good. Yeah, she's got long arms, and she's not really the more adept fighter on the inside either with the dirty boxing. So she gets herself too close, and I don't think she understands her own range.
And I think that's a great point you just made, Magic Man. Is you have Shelby Cannon, who trained MMA for years, has 10 amateur MMA fights. Kappen, 12-4, is an amateur boxer, and you can see the hands right here. But that clinch not as second nature to her.
But also, even if there was an MMA, it was not MMA involved. You know, Cannon is the shorter fighter with shorter arms. She's more adept at that close range. Kappen gets so close, and then she's not adept even if there was no dirty boxing, because her arms are too long on the inside. She doesn't want to create space. She's staying squared. Look at her. She's out of her league there on the inside. She should be fighting on the outside. So she's being counted.
Yep.
I think she's just overwhelmed. I don't think she's got a lot left.
She said it's over, and it is officially. Congratulations, Shelby Cannon.
I'll tell you, Cannon is a strange woman. She's looking at her, she's back to calm again. I mean, she got a big welt on her forehead. I don't know if that was an elbow or a punch or a headbutt. I don't know. She got a knot starting to grow on her forehead, so it's a good thing for her that they stopped the fight as well. And she, literally from 0 to 100, back to 0, back to 100. There's no in between with Cannon. I mean, when they break her, she literally just stands still. She's not even. She told the referee, talks to her. She stands still. She doesn't hop in place. She doesn't move her arms to keep them warm, even at the introductions. But man, when she's actually fighting, it's all out.
Yep.
Like they shot her out of a cannon, and she continued to do that every chance she got.
Very emotional in victory.
Well, she can get her air conditioning, so.
Yes, she can. And then you want to talk about 1 to 100, that hematoma.
Yeah,
going 1 to 100.
Very, very important for her that she got the stoppage, because that would have started swelling very, very badly. They got to get ice on that. I don't know what they're waiting for. They got to get ice on that, because that would have started swelling very, very fast. You see some of the action there. You see the high guard of Cannon on the inside when Kappen did get off some shots. But look, you see, this is what I'm saying about the bully tactics. I don't mind that so much. Yes, you can't start hip tossing people. But again, I think it was all a part of the bully tactic that eventually just wore out Kappen. She was getting the worst of the combinations and worse of the exchanges. And then when she was thinking she could rest with a clinch, she couldn't rest because Cannon was tossing her around all over the place. So there was just no reprieve from Cannon's pressure, which again, like I said, was literally 0 to 100 mile an hour pressure. And Kappen just was overwhelmed. I mean, she eventually just looked at her corner and said, I can't do this. And they stopped it.
Big Mo to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Clive Allison calls a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 18 seconds of round number 3. Declaring your winner by TKO and earning another victory for Team BYB tonight, Shelby Boom Boom Cannon.
Thank you. You're all set.
Shelby. Cool. We're going to talk in a minute. Okay?
Shelby, mother of 2, her son is 13.
Shelby Cannon.
Daughter 10. And
Bare knuckle debut tonight. I just want to ask, what do you think? How are the hands? Let's start there.
It was good. Honestly, it didn't hurt as bad as I thought it was going to. She did get me with some clean shots, but I'll be back.
You'll be back. We love to hear that after a debut. Shelby, coming from the United States, you picked up a win tonight. Sure you had some friends and family watching. Anything that you have to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, really, I just come from a town where people are dying from accidental fentanyl overdose and people are getting shot. And I was sponsored by a man who's really put his sweat and blood into opening up awareness for these 2 things, because we found out it's not just happening in our hometown or in the United States, but it's happening all over the world. And we just want to try to get some awareness out. So parents who have kids, talk to your kids. Getting weed isn't just getting weed. Getting a pain pill isn't just getting a pain pill. These things are laced with fentanyl, and just a tiny pinpoint will kill you. And these guns on the streets that are being carried by illegal people, especially our youth, are killing our youth, and we just need to talk about it. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Kevin Oliver and my sister Tisha. They lost their sons from these 2 specific things, and I got 2 kids, and I don't want my kids' future to be that. And so obviously we all have an expiration date, and the only thing that's going to get us across to the other side is by just pronouncing with our mouth that Jesus is Lord and believing in our heart that God raised him from the dead. Whether you believe it or not, I do. And so that's what I got to say.
Thank you for your messages. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your winner, Shelby Cannon.
Very passionate in her message, post-victory, and a lot of fun to see someone 6'7" interviewing someone 5'1". And then Mo heard me, and he's even got a smile on his face.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Maybe a little bit of luck. We'll see you in Belfast.
Yeah, okay.
I think you gotta go that way.
That way, okay.
Still to come, our co-main event of the evening, the rematch between Jarome Hatch and Marko Martinjak. And then in our main event of the evening, with a Police Gazette Diamond Championship belt on the line, the GOAT, the Welsh Wrecking Machine, 9-0 Barrie Jones against Tommy, the Samurai Turner. First, our tail of the tape for this BKB versus BKB showcase. Lee Spencer and Dom Wilkinson, both 41 years old. 3-inch height advantage for the Spencer, thus he will also have the reach advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BYB 18, live on BN Sports from London, England. Our next contest features 2 BKB fighters, and therefore will not affect the scoring for the Police Gazette International Cup. It is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome Dominic Wilkinson.
Dominator Wilkinson started his martial arts training at age 7. He's got a couple of kickboxing belts. He had a world title fight in pit fighting. And he said the one thing that he would like to share as one of his titles earned is the fact that his losses have taught him what not to do. So instead of blaming it on other people, Paulie looks at himself. Blames it on himself. Yep. Not everyone does that. Greatest influences, James J. Braddock, and Mike Tyson, and the great Manny Pacquiao. Dom Wilkinson, pit fighting, dirty boxing, speed and positioning.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, here is Lee Spencer.
Lee lights off Spencer. One of his training partners, Paul Hilz, who we saw earlier tonight. He said as he adjusts to his first fight inside the smallest surface in combat sports, is that he used to spar in an 8-foot ring.
Yeah, he said he has a gym and an 8-foot ring. I guess that'll get you ready for it.
I guess it will indeed. Started boxing training 20 years ago. Goes a long way back with his trainer, 40 unlicensed fights. His greatest influences, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, and Paulie, no surprise for a Brit, Ricky Hatton.
Of course.
I mean, when I met him on the big night that Boxer had to showcase for all the great female fighters, I was like a little kid.
Yeah. At that time, he was getting ready for an exhibition. He looked great.
They did. Pretty sure I asked you, like, is that Ricky Hatton? You said yes, and I got my picture, so thank you, Magic Man. You guys know each other pretty well, huh?
Yeah, we got to know each other a little bit.
Yes, a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this super welterweight bare knuckle matchup is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds inside the mighty Trigon, live on BN Sports. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Bill Clancy. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner, he stands 5 feet 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 151.6 pounds. He comes to us with a bare knuckle record of 4 victories versus 5 defeats. Fighting out of Preston, England, here is Dominic, the Dominator, Wilkinson. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. He weighed in at 153.2 pounds. He is making his bare knuckle debut, and he fights right here in London, England. Introducing Lee Lights Up Spencer.
This matchup not part of the International Cup competition. This is just for your viewing pleasure. Here we go. Lee Lights Off Spencer. That switch.
I think Wilkinson psyched himself out. Too much jitteriness.
Wait, you good? You want to fight? All right, let's go.
Silver and blue trunks. Spencer quickly looking to finish it.
I'll tell you what, if Wilkinson's going to blame himself, I guess he's going to have a lot to blame himself for so far.
Black with white trunks.
He's pulling away, too, and he's getting overwhelmed with shit.
Oh, my goodness! It is all over! Just like that!
Another fight where a fighter barely broke a sweat.
He's got that right, but man, highlight reel knockout.
Spencer and Stokes, the two S's tonight, barely did not, I don't think they even broke the sweat in their fight. It's always nice when you have a fight and you don't even get hit in it, you know? Right? Go right back into another fight.
Which, if you're a guy like LT Smash Nelson, would be scheduled for tomorrow.
Yeah, but if Nelson does get hit and Stokes got just for tomorrow.
That's a great point, Wally.
I just didn't like Wilkinson's reactions when he was, you know, in the middle of the fire. He was pulling away, almost halfway turning his back with his head up in the air. He's not reacting like a guy who's trained, like, you know, like a trained fighter does. You know, instinctively, you know not to do certain things when you're caught up in a bad situation or you're in a storm of an exchange. I mean, he made some very, very amateurish, I mean, not even to even call them amateurish, beginnerish, because there's very good amateurs out there. So beginnerish mistakes. And there he went down with a jab, which obviously spelled the beginning of a bad moment for him here. But you're gonna notice, even as Spencer's set very well. Look, he's pulling up. Look, he's already looking to pull away. Look, he's kind of had his head right up in the air, squared, and it's just, I don't know. Doesn't look like a guy who's been training for that long, and but I assume he has, because he's talked about how he, you know, when he wins or loses, he's the one who takes the blame and doesn't blame anybody else. Well,
ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Clancy calls a stop to this contest at 35 seconds of round number 1, declaring your winner by knockout lead. Lights off, Spencer.
Vicious knockout. He certainly shut the lights off. Congratulations, Lee Spencer. Coming up next, the highly anticipated rematch between the marvelous one, Marko Martinjak, and the hatchet, Jarome Hatch.
I'm glad you're my friend. Not how to fight against me.
Hey, go now, yeah?
Run the red corner.
Napoleon said if he had 10,000 Croatians, he would rule the world. Croatian warrior Marko Martinjak wants to come away with that belt tonight. It is a belt presently owned by Jarome Hatch. It is in the cruiserweight division. It is the beautiful Police Gazette Diamond Belt, which Hatch won 3 months ago in 1 week with a finish of Marko Martinjak in Dubai. Our tale of the tape for this, our co-main event of the evening. Hatch, 4 years the elder of Martinjak, who will have a 3-inch reach advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our co-main event. A championship rematch for the Police Gazette Diamond Cruiserweight Championship of the World. This contest will also have a victory counted towards the International Police Gazette Bare Knuckle Cup. Introducing first, the challenger, fighting out of the red corner from Croatia. Here is Marko Martinjak.
Triple M, Marvelous Marko Martinjak is the current BKB Super Middleweight Champion, the former BKB Cruiserweight World Champion, and the owner of the Police Gazette Light Heavyweight belt. He wants to win this rematch against Jarome Hatch and have two beautiful Police Gazette diamond belts in his trophy case. Marko Martinjak had some words delivered to Jarome Hatch in Croatian yesterday after the weigh-ins, and I asked him during a press conference, what did you say to him? At first he told me probably, well, you gotta learn the language. I'm not gonna translate, and then he decided to translate, and then I just got out of the way. There is no love lost between these two men who have already fought one time, where Marvelous Marko got off to a great start.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB, the champion from the United States of America, Jarome Hatch.
Walking into Superman song, Can't Be Touched by Roy Jones Jr. Jarome Hatch looks to defend his Police Gazette diamond belt in the cruiserweight division for the first time. He weathered, and I mean weathered, an early storm 3 months ago at BYB 16 in Dubai. He was knocked down twice, but then when that right hand was delivered, it found a home, and he finished Marko Martinjak at 2:33 in the very first round.
This guy's right hand is a game changer. Yep. He can be in the fight, he can be out of the fight. But he's never totally out of the fight, even if he looks like he's out of the fight. And that last fight proved it. Looked like he was getting dominated very, very early on. But yet the fight didn't even get out of the first round, and he won the fight. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your championship co-main event of the evening. A rematch for the Police Gazette Diamond Cruiserweight Championship of the World, presented by the Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame. This fight is brought to you by GC3, live on beIN Sports from the Indigo Room, here at the O2 Arena in London, England. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the red corner, the challenger. He stands 6 feet, 1 inch tall. He weighed in at 192.4 pounds. He comes to us with a bare knuckle record of 7 victories versus 2 defeats. Representing Team BKB, he fights out of Zagreb, Croatia. Introducing the former BKB Cruiserweight Champion and the current reigning BKB Super Middleweight Champion and the current reigning Police Gazette Super Middleweight Champion. He is Marvelous Marko Martinjak. And his opponent, the champion, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Team BYB. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 192 1/2 pounds. He comes to us with a perfect, undefeated bare knuckle record. 3 victories, no defeats, all 3 wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Mont Bellevue, Texas, USA. Introducing the reigning, defending Police Gazette Diamond World Cruiserweight Champion, Jarome the Hatchet Hatch.
Lovely. Right, you both know what's at stake, gentlemen. I expect a good, clean fight, okay? Watch the strikes to the back of the head, okay? If you're in on the clinch, you need to be working. If not, it's going to be break. Godspeed to both of you. Good luck.
Sergeant Foley from Officer and a Gentleman would have disapproved because those guys were eyeballing each other the entire time Mo was making the official introductions. The rematch is set. Here we go!
Round 1.
Marko Martinjak proudly representing Croatia on his trunks. The black trunks, the stars and stripes being sported by Jarome Hatchet.
You can see Barnard trying to make sure he keeps that distance, but again, in a Trigon, you don't have a lot of room. You see Hatch trying to force his way in, kind of going just short with a couple of big right hands. Those are the right hands that obviously are game changers, but Martinjak trying to get those shots off in and out the way he was early in the first fight where he gave him the advantage.
Marko seems to be more methodical at the start of this fight than he was in Dubai, though.
He was, you know, you don't know what you're getting yourself into a lot of times. You don't know the damage the other guy can do, so he was just letting his hands fly, and he was hurting and dropping Hatch, and kind of let his, you know, defensive instincts relax a little bit. This time, he knows how hard Hatch can hit, so he's trying to be smart in there, and he's already drawn blood from Hatch.
Only thing better than a rematch is a trilogy. Marko looking to make it 1-1 after Hatch claimed the Police Gazette Diamond Belt in Dubai.
So Marko doing his best, Martinjak, to keep it a technical fight. Hatch is trying to force his way in. He's turning the southpaw. He doesn't know which way to force it in, but he's reaching out from too far out there. He's got to use maybe a feint or a little half step in and then try to throw that big shot. So at least in case Martinjak steps back, he can still reach him. Right now, if you're shooting from right from where you're at, all Martinjak has to do is step back, especially with that high guard Martinjak is using. You know, he's gonna, oh, big counter left hook there from Martinjak.
Championship fight, so it is scheduled for 7 3-minute rounds. And a great start for Marvelous Marko Martinjak.
60 seconds.
Very technical round there from Martinjak. Hatch trying to pick his spot and shoot that shot from. Lands a little bit on the side of the head there. I think he's got the.
He connected there. He hurt him.
He hurt him a little bit. You saw the legs of Martinjak kind of going. So Martinjak taking a deep breath in that clinch.
30 seconds.
About 100 career fights for Marko Martinjak. Tonight, the 176th combat confrontation for Jarome Hatch.
Again, you see the style clash here. The bombs of Hatch that can change the fight with one landed shot, as they almost did again. But yet the technical superiority of Martinjak as he's drawn blood and has Hatch, frankly, frustrated despite the big power Hatch has. Knuckle almost hit him. Tell you though, in that clinch though, man, Martinjak got trapped in that. That's the thing about the Trigon. Those corners are difficult to get out of. And Hatch did land a big right hand on Martinjak. Martinjak was able to kind of fall into Hatch and protect himself. But overall, a very dominant round for Marko Martinjak, whose technical superiority was shining. You saw that in and out style here. We started to draw blood early. But I'd like to have a look at that right hand. There was a big right hand that Hatch landed with Martinjak on the ropes that actually Martinjak's legs went out. I think if Hatch wasn't next to him to be grabbed onto, Martinjak might have went down.
This will be the first time Jarome Hatch enters round number 2. 3-0, 3 first round finishes. Round 2 of this title fight. Certainly not a lot of love.
This referee has a big issue with that corner tonight. That's like
Round 2.
Round number 2. The Croatian Warrior. Against the hatchet. Good combination by Martinjak.
Oh, he just missed that big right hand. Martinjak again has to be careful because now Hatch, as Hatch gets desperate, he's gonna start launching him from all over the place.
And he'll go head first and then come over the top with it.
He is just missing. One thing Martinjak can try to get Hatch to get to is to a point of getting so tired that he's got less punching power. And that was a good body shot by Martinjak. If you can start to take some of the steam from Hatch by tiring him out or wearing him out, and that can come from either the body shots, beating on him, and also making him miss those big punches. You can, that's Hatch's right eye is closing fast.
It's the most damage that Hatch has taken in his bare knuckle career.
Yeah. But again, that power's still live, so you've got to almost get him to a point where he's worn out enough to where just in case he does land, it's not going to hurt you. Right now, Hatch is still a live guy. You can see there's a lot on those big shots he's throwing, but Martinjak fighting a very, very smart fight, very cerebral fight.
And utilizing that larger frame, Paulie, to be able to lean away from those big right hands.
And now Hatch's right eye is closed, so now Martinjak's left hand is going to be more precise. And you see how the creativity of Martinjak's combination. You see how he do that jab, use that uppercut, come back with that hook. Sometimes he mixes to the body, he touch jabs, he shoots harder jabs. There's more variation to his offense. He's more creative and he's a more technical fighter. And that's why Hatch needs to land in order to have an advantage. He's got to get in Martinjak's head. And right now tonight he's not been able to so far. At least not consistently.
Final minute of round number 2. Hatch won the first fight in Dubai. Midway point of round 1 with a big right hand. Martinjak sticking to the game plan perfectly thus far.
I think Hatch is turning southpaw because maybe he can't see out of the other eye. I don't know. Oh, another good body shot by Martinjak.
And again, right hand to the body. Hatch is in trouble. It is all over. Marvelous. Marko Martinjak finishes Jarome Hatch.
Listen, I think Martinjak would have won the fight anyway, but that was one of the most ridiculous stoppages you're gonna see. I don't know what the ref was dying to bother the blue corner all night. You see, I took a look at Martinjak's corner when he warned for the wet corner in Hatch's corner. There is a puddle in Martinjak's corner. He's telling Hatch's corner to wipe the water. There is a puddle in Martinjak's corner. He's not bothered at the red corner all night. This is clearly a hometown referee. He's constantly favored the European side the whole time. Again, I think Martinjak fought a brilliant fight tonight and probably was on his way to winning it, but why not let him win the decisively the way he's supposed to get the win, instead of now all of this garbage having to happen because he was ridiculous all night. I mean, this is tempers flaring from his actions all night. This is not just this fight. This is all night where it was a constant, where he was constantly favoring one side to the other side. This is.
Hey, just stay there. Stay there. It's finished.
And again, I want to reiterate, I think Martinjak was on his way to winning the fight anyway. He fought a brilliant fight. He's a very good technical fighter. He showed that in the beginning of the first fight, and he showed that throughout this fight consistently. But you got to let Hatch go out the way Hatch goes out if you're going to let him go out, because Hatch always has the equalizer. He's always going to believe in himself, and he's always going to think he's going to be able to stay there.
I told you, I promised you.
There's a big shot here that really hurts Hatch, and Hatch honestly is just covering up. And Martinjak, this is almost a showboat move where he's walking away from you and just letting you stay like that. He's not being sporty here. You know where you say, oh, I don't want to hit him. Martinjak is a showboat. He's a natural showman. Look, this is Martinjak being like, look how superior I am to you. I'm just gonna leave you looking ridiculous like this. And of course, the referee doesn't get it. He's not reading the situation, so he just stops the fight. That was Martinjak just showing his superiority as he had shown throughout the fight in a showboat move. But again, Hatch is going to disagree with the stoppage, as I think he should. When you hit that hard, I think you should. Ultimately, I think Martinjak was going to win the fight anyway, but there was just a constant favoritism from this referee all night. It was just, it's weird because I also saw this with one of the referees in South Carolina. Remember when I was complaining about him, and sure enough, he ended up ruining the main event that night. This guy, the same thing. I'm getting him a water here because one of Martinjak straight his head on his own head. With the water bottle. The water, yeah. Okay, let's not let this take away from a brilliant performance from Marko Martinjak. Really, a very, very brilliant technical bare knuckle boxer. He looked great in the first fight until he got himself caught and knocked out, and he looked terrific tonight. Very, showed a lot of command of the Trigon.
Well, I think someone said earlier the only thing better than a rematch is a trilogy.
Well, I think now we got enough what's the word I'm looking for? Controversy.
Yeah, controversy and animosity.
Animosity, of course, but more so controversy, because Hatch is going to feel, with my punching power, you should never stop that kind of fight. And he's right. Or at least not there.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Clive Allison calls a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 39 seconds of the second round, declaring your winner by TKO and the new Police Gazette Diamond Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Marvelous Marko Martinjak.
And mind you, I'm saying this because Martinjak is robbed of a chance to win decisively, because that's what he's on his way to doing. He was certainly going to do that. He was dominating the fight, and you've taken that away from him.
All right, Marko. Tension's running high in here. It's all right. We got a good...
And mind you, I also got to say, you take away a chance for Hatch with his one-punch power to also come back.
All right, Marko. Tension's running high. It's all right. We have a good little rivalry going. You got the belt around your shoulder. You knew you wanted to come back here. You had a rematch. You got it back. Congratulations. How do you feel?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Jarome, for accepting rematch in 3 months. I knew I was better, man. I proved at that time in Dubai that was a lucky shot. And I say right now, I'm gonna fight Jarome for third fight, but in the BKB ring, not in the fucking Trigon, in the BKB ring, the end of the year. Nobody, everybody.
Well, obviously, a trilogy is needed. He gave you the rematch. Your only right to do it back. Props to you, sir. You're a fighting champion. Anything that you have to say to your Croatian people, to your friends, your fans, your family?
I will tell in Croatian, okay? Hrvatska! Idemo! Ko je najbolji? Ima nas 3 miliona i 800 tisuća. U svim sportovima im jebemo majku. Najjači smo! And thank you my English fans also, Welsh fans, my brother James Connelly, my coach Ivica, my family at home, to Mike, Jim, everybody, thank you. And let's go to the third fight by the end of the year. Thank you very much. Let's go!
Couldn't have said it better myself, ladies and gentlemen, your new champion, Marvelous Marko Martinjak.
1-1, and he's already calling for the trilogy, but I say it needs to be in the Trigon. Congratulations to the proud Croatian. He gets his revenge tonight and walks away with another Police Gazette Diamond Belt. It is now time for our main event of the evening. The Samurai, Tommy Turner, against the GOAT, Barrie Jones, known as the Welsh Wrecking Machine.
Those Brits, they like to hop on and just talking down on Americans. They've been in my inbox, and when I called Barrie out, they said blue coats versus the red coats, and you're coming over here for a beating. I'm Tommy the Samurai Turner. I'm a professional fighter out of Weiser, Idaho, and I'm fighting Barrie Jones, the current world champion. Hey, yeah, Idaho is my home. The word samurai to me means dedication, honor, respect, and being ready to go out on your shield. Them calling me a samurai, I can't have any quit in me. I've got to show them that that's what I am. Barrie has everything to lose. I believe I'm a world champion. I've dedicated my entire life to this. He's the comfortable champ. I'm the guy over here hungry, wanting what he's got. So he loses, I win. No matter what, that belt's gonna be mine.
Our tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. 9-0 Barrie Jones, 3 years the elder of Tommy Turner. Everything else is virtually identical.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our viewers joining us on BN Sports for BYB 18 and the inaugural Police Gazette International Bare Knuckle Cup, which BYB now leads 6 wins to 2. However, this main event is not only for the Cup, but it is also for the Police Gazette Diamond Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Scheduled for 7 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, making his way to the Trigon, the champion, fighting out of the red corner. Here is Barrie Jones.
We said at the top of the show, the word GOAT and quote used a lot these days. Who's the GOAT? With the gloves on. Who's the quote? We know with the gloves on, it is Clarissa Shields. We know in MMA gloves, it is Chris Cyborg. In bare knuckle boxing, and Tommy Turner agrees, that man right there, Barrie Jones, is the GOAT.
Destructive, one of the most destructive forces in bare knuckle boxing. I mean, he stops guys that have iron chins. I've seen watch them stop them. Tear through them like a hot knife through butter.
His time spent in the Trigon, 15 seconds. When he came to the U.S. and finished Louise Mello quickly. He went the distance in his last fight in Thailand. It was the very first time he had gone the distance. He did say it was strange that the guy was still there. but he said it very modestly. He is the first boxer in the 142-year history of the Gazette to have 2 title defenses of a diamond belt.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, the challenger, representing Team BYB, here is Tommy Turner.
After the Samurai made his BYB debut back in February, a fight that lasted a total of 37 seconds. He said it in the Trigon, and then he confirmed it with our Hall of Fame matchmaker, Mel Valenzuela. This is where he wants to be at this point of his career. 13 years as a professional with the gloves on. He said in glove boxing, I wasn't heading to a world championship. Stylistically, I'm more suited for this. And he did say it felt good to have lighter hands without those gloves.
Hey, if your hands can survive the punishment, the boxers have a very big advantage in the sport. And both of these guys have roots in boxing.
One of the training partners of Tommy Turner, man you know very well, Louis Collazo, former WBA welterweight champion.
Freshly retired.
Yes, on ProBox TV.
Yeah.
He is the Samurai, Tommy Turner, with the official introductions of our main event of the evening. Once again, Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening for BYB 18 for the Police Gazette International Bare Knuckle Cup and for the Police Gazette Diamond Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Promoted by BYB and co-promoted by BKB. Live from the Indigo Room here at the world-famous O2 Arena in London, England. So, London, I need you all to get up out of your seats, raise your drinks high, and get wild! Let's meet the fighters. First, the champion, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet, 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 166 1/2 pounds. He is representing Team BKB, and he comes to us with a perfect, undefeated record of 9 victories and no defeats. And he fights out of Pontypridd, Wales. Introducing the former BKB light heavyweight champion and the reigning BKB middleweight and super middleweight champion and the reigning defending Police Gazette Diamond Super Middleweight Championship of the World. He is known and feared as the Welsh Wrecking Machine. He is the #1 bare knuckle fighter in the world. Here is Barrie Jones. And his opponent, the challenger, representing Team BYB. He stands 5 feet, 10 1/2 inches tall. He weighed in at 166 pounds. He comes to us with 18 professional boxing bouts and a perfect, undefeated bare knuckle record of 1 victory versus no defeats. And he fights out of Payette, Idaho, USA. Here is Tommy, the Samurai Turner. Our referee in charge, Bill Clancy.
All right, gentlemen, you received your instructions earlier. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Gentlemen, you must obey my commands. Both your trunks are fine, all the punches above the line. Please keep your hands closed up top so we don't have an eye poke. Keep me out of it. Good luck, God bless. Let's do it.
Barrie Jones, Tommy Turner, our main event of the evening. The Welsh Wrecking Machine, the Southpaw. Blue waistband, red and white striped trunks. Tommy Turner in in the silver with red trunks off to a good start, but just ate a nasty uppercut.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He's swinging wild, and Jones is trying to time him in between. And there he goes, timing him in between.
First big strike lands for the Welsh wrecking machine.
Cut on the scalp of Turner. Takes another big left hand, takes another knee. And there's a puddle of blood developing underneath Turner.
We're going to check the cut over the eye of Tommy Turner.
Turner tried to be aggressive, just like he did in his first BYB fight, where he got the first round stoppage. But he's got a more adept, cerebral fighter in front of him, and Barrie was giving half-step backs and punching and timing Tommy in between. And you can see he was looking to time him in between, and Turner was just throwing big lefts and big rights and big lefts and big rights. You know, just looking to be close and throw them, but not actually throwing them with any real smart intent. While Jones is noticing the pattern, he said, you could already see he was punching in between, and finally landed that big shot that led to the first knockdown. You know, I think there's actually a break for Turner to get cut here, because he's going to deal with another cut, but he gets a break. I thought he was still hurt, and that's what led to the second knockdown.
The fight continues. Let's see if Tommy Turner can get on the board. And it's all over, just like that. The Welsh wrecking machine moves to 10-0.
Another big timing shot from Barrie Jones, as Turner was trying to walk in with those punches, and again Jones timed him with a hard left hand. Walked him right into it. It's going to be an interesting replay to see. See, Barrie's very, very dangerous, because not only does he have the technique from boxing and the timing from boxing, he's also got naturally heavy hands, so he turns into them very, very well. That's why he's the best pound-for-pound bare knuckle fighter in the world, and he showed that right there. It was a combination of skill and power and just alert hand-eye coordination as far as to see things and react to them and the way he reacts to them. We're going to see in between the first knockdown. You see Jones, he's slipping. He's trying to see in between what Turner's doing. You see Turner's not really looking. He's just throwing lefts and rights. And you see Jones is kind of slipping some shots. He's stepping around. He's looking to time Turner, and he finally catches him there with that shot. That was the first knockdown. I don't know if Turner was ever the same after that knockdown. You see again with another look at it. You see Jones is getting underneath. You see he's kind of stepping. He's trying to punch with Turner, but he's trying to time Turner, as opposed to Turner, who's just seeing that Jones is in front of him and trying to throw big lefts and rights. This was the second knockdown where I think Turner was still hurt from the first one. Takes a little short uppercut. I think that opened the second cut, though, nonetheless. There was a big puddle of blood that's still in the Trigon, actually, as Turner started dripping blood. And I think Turner actually got a good break here, because they had to check the cut, and I think it allowed Turner to kind of get his legs back a little bit. But again, it's the second knockdown again here with a little short left uppercut. But again, he got his legs back, I think, but ultimately Jones timed him again very, very well, and we're going to see that last knockdown, I'm sure. You see Jones trying to time that. Whoa, what a shot. I thought it was a left hand. Was it a right hook, it looked like? See it again here. Yeah, again, fundamentals are everything. You see Turner trying to throw his right hand with his left hand down, especially against the southpaw. That short right hook from the southpaw is very, very short. It's his lead hand. So Turner trying to throw the right hand, and his left hand is down. He's just feeding that right hook to Jones, and sure enough, Jones took it and ended the fight with it.
He adds on to the history that is already in his corner. The first boxer in the 142-year history of the Gazette, the Police Gazette Diamond Belt. 2 title defense was already a record. Paulie, now he has earned his 3rd successful defense.
And he continues to make it look so easy. Again, just so people don't misunderstand me, I'll say it in a different way. He turned and fed his chin to Jones there, and Jones took it with the right hook, but he fed his chin susceptible to that right hook because his left hand was down. And again, especially against a southpaw, you don't want to just reach in like that on that side, especially against a southpaw who's got a right hook. Not all southpaws have a good right hook, but Jones clearly does and ended the fight with it.
Another big name here for BKB and in the UK is Jimmy Sweeney. Barrie Jones defeated him twice. Tonight, he gets the finish and keeps the super middleweight Police Gazette Diamond Belt. Here's Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Bill Clancy calls a stop to this contest at 53 seconds of the very first round, declaring your winner by knockout and still the Police Gazette Diamond Super Middleweight Champion of the World, Barrie, the Welsh Wrecking Machine Jones.
I want to meet the guy that went the distance with him in Thailand.
I'm telling you, I want to know who Johnny Tello is, because that's his name.
Barrie Jones, look, I'm just going to ask you straight up. Is there a single fighter that can beat you in bare knuckle?
I'm not sure.
I'll ask your fans, Barrie Jones's fans. Is there anyone that could beat this man? Barrie, you retained the belt. Let me rephrase. You retained one of your belts, made quick work again tonight. How do you feel?
I feel great. I knew he was going to come out at me, so I thought I'm going to meet him in the middle of the ring. There's not much room in yet to try and box, and so I thought I'll just meet him in the middle of the ring and let the best man win.
Now, this is your second time fighting in the Trigon. Do you like these close quarters? Do you like how tight it is in here?
Well, so, the results seem to speak for themselves, really. It suits me, I think, on the tail up in the middle of the ring.
Now, you obviously have a lot of fans here. I'm sure you have a lot of fans and family that watched you and friends. Anything that you have to say to your support staff?
Yes, I'd like to thank you to everybody who come up to watch me, and happy birthday, Sonny, as well. It's one of my fans' birthday, so thank you, everybody.
Well, Barrie, congratulations. It's an honor to watch you fight and do your thing. You're the best bare knuckle fighter in the world. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. One more time for your winner, the champion, the Welsh Wrecking Machine, Barrie Jones.
Congratulations to Barrie Jones. 10-0, 9 wins by knockout, 2-0 inside the mighty Trigon. Victorious in our main event of the evening. We said right now he has the status of the GOAT in bare knuckle boxing, and Barrie Jones just solidified that moniker for now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With an exclamation point.
You got that right. I'll tell you. And such a nice and humble human being, but you do not want to fight him. Speaking of fight of the night was the one, Paulie, that you and I predicted could very well be fight of the night. It was Dan McGraffin and Laurent T. Nelson. They had a great fight, and then Ryan Jett walked in and he stole the show against Reffell. That, our fight of the night. I had smashed down as a candidate for knockout of the night, Paulie. But Ryan Jett was tested, his emotions were pushed, but in the end, that is our fight of the night. All right, so we had choices. We had Smash, we had Spencer, we had Stokes, but the knockout of the night is the one that we just saw, and it belongs to the Welsh Wrecking Machine, Barrie Jones, who finishes Tommy Turner in 53 seconds. Let's get it back to Big Mo for the International Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight was the inaugural Police Gazette International Bare Knuckle Cup, the first ever time that team format has been used in the sport of bare knuckle. As old as this sport is, the partnership between BYB and BKB has allowed for tonight to happen. And due to our scoring system, with a score of 6 wins to 3 wins, the winner of the inaugural International Bare Knuckle Cup presented by the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame and the Police Gazette goes to BYB Extreme.
Folks, we've been waiting 142 years for this dream of Richard K. Fox that he had originally to have Team USA versus the old guard Team Europe, and I'm so proud either way to present it, but this time it goes to the Americans. Here we go, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, BYB Extreme. Thank you all for watching on BN Sports for BYB 18. We will see you next time for BYB 19, live from Florida.
And live on BN Sports, that is Thursday, August 10th. We head home to South Florida. BYB 19, Brawl in the Pines, will have another powerfully packed card with 3 titles on the line. The BYB super middleweight title will be unified. Jose Fernandez and the interim champ, Sam Liera, Brandon Burr, and Harold McQueen collide for the inaugural BYB featherweight title. Plus, we will crown a new BYB welterweight champion. Then we head to Biloxi, Mississippi, and BYB 21 will be a return to Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we cannot wait. There it is, what they worked so hard for tonight. Team BYB wins. For my partner, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, Mike Goldberg, saying so long.